the Flash, but you could call me JD.
And ahoy, I'm Comic Book Hunter, also known as just Hunter.
And this is a Hero Story, episode 106. Welcome.
Ahoy.
A Hero Story is a podcast where we talk all things comics. That includes comic book movies, comic book animation, comic book video games. You name it, we probably talk about it. This is a special episode in a way because it's such a big episode. We have so much to talk about. This one, I mean, we were talking about this in the pregame, and it might end up being 2 hours. Who knows?
Maybe.
We love to talk.
Might be two parts.
But it's also a big episode because for those of you who typically listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud, you may know that we're also on YouTube, which was originally just for the hearing impaired. But we decided that we are also going to put video of us on YouTube. So if you want to see our pretty faces on YouTube, you'll probably see me drinking water about 500 times during the podcast, brushing my hair a lot, and maybe just flipping through comics sporadically. You can check us out on YouTube, which is, I believe the channel name is just A Hero Story, correct?
Yeah, just youtube.com/A Hero Story should get you there. It's weird because we've been doing this for like 2 years, 2.5 years, really, over 100 episodes, and we've never done video podcasts before.
We have not. We typically don't even do video when we're recording because we don't want to waste the bandwidth. So this is new for us. We've done video a few times. During our last interview with Williamson, that was all video, and that was actually really cool because you could see me, with a big smile the entire time. So
yeah.
That was,
with the Flash run ending soon, we will probably have the writer Joshua Williamson come back on again pretty soon here, and hopefully we'll have a video podcast of all three of us then.
Yeah, that would be legendary.
Yeah.
I mean, I would even do like if Josh wants to, a mini YouTube clip of he was showing off his collection to us one time, and he said that he was going to go through his garage and stuff. I would love to just like get an inside look at that. That would be awesome.
That would be really cool. I wonder.
So maybe we could talk to him about that. But anyway, this is a huge episode, as stated in the beginning. Timestamps in description if you want to skip around. But this is the one to listen to full through.
Yeah,
and that is because of this bad boy right here.
Three Jokers.
Something that has only been in my dreams since 2016. It's pretty crazy that it's actually here. There was times in 2017 and 2018 where a young JD thought to himself, is Three Jokers ever coming?
Nah.
And oh boy. Jason Fabok said, hold my beer. And
it's actually here. It was delayed. It
was delayed a lot. I mean, this was first announced in 2016 in Darkseid War, and then teased in DC Rebirth 1, and then kind of never talked about again.
Yeah, so, even in the regular Batman comics, it was never mentioned.
So there were times where we're like, is this actually happening? Like, and especially with Jeff's track record at the time of Doomsday Clock being viciously delayed, Shazam delayed. Like, there was so much going on with Jeff personally. We were like, is this book ever going to come out? And I kept saying, like, listen, I was bummed out about waiting because I wanted the book so bad. But at the same time, I knew the way Fabok was talking about it, the way his art was going to be, the way he was taking his time, I knew it was going to be perfect. So I said, you know what? I'm mad, but it's worth the wait. And whew, it is worth the wait. Oh my God. It's so good. Even just like holding the book in my hands feels so surreal because I've been waiting for this for so long.
I guess I've never even heard your thoughts on this yet. I just realized because you didn't get it Tuesday, you got it Wednesday, right?
I did get it Wednesday. Yes. You guys in the group chat were talking about it mostly on Tuesday because so for those who don't know, DC Comics dropped Diamond Distributing as their distributor, and they
about a month ago.
Yeah, about a month ago. So with their new distributor, comics for them are actually coming out on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. Unfortunately, and this is true for both the shop at my college and the shop at my home, they get them on Wednesday still. So
same with my local shop too. So
I didn't realize. I thought your local shop got them Tuesday.
No, Wednesday.
So the problem is the spoilers, like Tuesday morning at like 10 a.m. There's spoilers on Instagram, and it's a minefield of me like swiping through, right? So and I still want to be involved. I still want to look through posts, but I'm like, oh my God, I can't. So this week I was like, oh, this is going to be a tough tack because there were 3 huge comics out this week. Not only did we have 3 Jokers, which was huge, we had Daredevil Annual and Flash 760, which I mean maybe not as huge in like the comicscape, but to me I thought it was huge because last 3 issues of Williamson's run,
and it was a pretty big one, returning characters. So yeah, I would still consider it a big issue, just not as big as Batman and Daredevil this
but
week.
the spoilers I was mostly worried about is Three Jokers. I follow a lot of DC accounts on Instagram. I follow a decent amount of Batman accounts, and I'm like, oh, I'm screwed. I'm going to see so many spoilers. So I fortunately was not spoiled. And
Ooh.
after reading the ending of this book, I am shocked that I did not get spoiled, because you name a big comic in the last, since I've had History of the Flash, I've been spoiled on it. So, this was delightfully surprising to not get spoiled.
Got lucky there, yeah. So yeah, my local shop, they get theirs on Wednesday, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna wait a day for this. I want this now. And I know that I'm hunting down all the variants, because there's like I think there's 6, 7
Wait, you're getting all the variants?
I want to.
I haven't got $7 a pop. You're a madman.
10 here in Canada.
Oh my god! You almost made me spit on my water.
I saw that. YouTube.com/hero story.
But, I was gonna plug.
But basically, so I decided, since my local store's gonna get them on Wednesday, I'll get like the Batman cover then, or just any of the covers that I didn't get, and I'm gonna go hunt them down today. So on Tuesday, I went out to hunt them down, because I live in a city where there's like 20 comic stores just spread out around. So there's a lot of options. And I decided to go to the biggest one first. They didn't get them. They're just like, oh no, we get our comics Wednesday. I'm like, I didn't know that. Dang. So I went to one nearby, same idea. We get our comics Wednesday. So then I just started calling places. And the first place I called after the first two I went to had them all, in fact. So I'm like, okay, I'm going there right away. And as I started going there, I got pulled over by the cops. Not for speeding, because I forgot to register my vehicle, because I was in Australia during the time that I had to do that. It slipped my mind. And then the officer, so I posted this on my story, like I have this weird story to tell. The officer thought I was a criminal, like straight up. Maybe it's the look, I don't know. But he's just like, do you have a criminal record? I'm like, no. He's like, mm-hmm. And he started like taking notes and stuff. I'm like, no, I don't.
I think it's the mustache.
Probably, yeah. I look like a villain. And I started doing this stuff, and he's just like, hey, we might have to tow your vehicle here. I'm like, oh no. And so a lot of stuff happened, and basically he was just like, hey man, I'm going to give you this ticket. If you don't pay it, like, you will get arrested, and you'll go to jail for 45 days. I'm like, what? Why?
Jesus.
I'll pay it. Like, I'll pay it. It's all good. Like, I understand. I'll get my vehicle registered. But he was like, he clearly thought I was a criminal. And he's just like, has this happened to you before? And it has, 2 years ago. So I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, and you didn't pay it because of you didn't want to show your record or something. I'm like, I don't have a criminal record. But anyways, this trip to Three Jokers cost me way more than I thought. But I ended up still getting it. I got the Red Hood cover. I got the Batman cover. I got the one with the crowbar, and I got the one of the special ones, the ones with that's like green and purple.
The 1/25th variant.
Yeah. So if a comic store gets 25 copies, they'll get one of these covers, and then if they get 100 copies, they get a black and white cover.
Yeah, the Virgin. I think it was Joker with the crowbar.
It was Joker with the crowbar,
and it looks so hot, and it's already like $100.
Yeah, I was hunting that guy down too when I couldn't find it anywhere, and I was calling stores to go.
Good luck with that. You're not getting that.
Yeah, I called one store. I'm like, do you guys have this? They're like, yeah, but it sold out like when we opened our doors. Like,
yeah, that's no surprise.
Oh, but yeah, I'm gonna get this CGC probably. So looking forward to that. Anyways.
Okay, I have a Three Joker story. Not quite exciting. There's so much to unpack here. First of all, I feel like you've gotten pulled over a decent number of times. I feel like I've seen it either on your personal story or on Comic Book Hunter story. A speeding ticket here, and
it's happened once or twice.
A seatbelt violation there, and all these violations.
I like to go fast. I'm sorry, but that's not a criminal record. Like
this is what happens when you listen to the La La Land soundtrack while driving.
Exactly, or like the Man of Steel soundtrack when Flight starts.
Well, listen, that's acceptable. You were doing 80 and a 40, but you were listening to Man of Steel, so we'll knock it down for you.
It makes sense.
So that's a tough situation. For me, I recently moved back home from college because my fall classes got announced to be online. So I was like, you know what? They're online. It doesn't make sense to live near school. I'm going to go back home. So I had a really great comic shop at school where I didn't need a subscription service. It was a big shop. So they had, multiple copies of everything. And I typically went like right as they opened. So I really never had to worry about missing a comic unless they missed a shipment. Mm-hmm. So it was really good. And then I realized, oh crap, I'm going to be home when Three Jokers comes out. I'm not going to be there. So I'm like, I need to order it. Unfortunately, I did not order it until, let's see, it came out August what 19th.
Uh, yeah.
I probably ordered it August 5th, so like 2 weeks in advance, which is, I mean, for those of you who know about ordering comics, the final order cutoff date is probably like a good month and a half before that. So I really screwed the hooch. So
You got
given
lucky.
that I knew I ordered it so late, and my comic shop has told me before, like if you order late, if we get extras, we will pull it for you, but there's no guarantee. And I'm like, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
So that was a good voice crack.
Yeah, I was hoping no one noticed.
I caught that.
Lay it out.
So I decided, you know what? Just in case they don't get it, I don't want to be left with no 3 Jokers, and then after it sells out, I'm gonna have to get it for a crazy price. I went on eBay, trust eBay. I advertised for eBay 2 weeks ago when I was telling you guys about the trades. Maybe last week, and so now I'm advertising for them again. If you're missing a single issue, and at least you're in the U.S., I don't know about Canada, but if you're in the U.S., eBay is a pretty good site. A lot of people will try to jack you on some comics, but I was able to get both copies of 3 Jokers, the Batman cover and the Joker cover, the A and B, and the card for $13, which is pretty good considering the book is like $7 each.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I have that coming. That's coming on the 29th. So I was like, all right, if I get that, it's going to be late. I'll have to buy it digital, but at least I'll have 2 copies. And as Hunter mentioned, CGCing, I would like to get. Maybe I'm thinking a little crazy, but I really want the Batman, Batgirl, and Red Hood covers CGC'd together, and they're doing a signing for those of you who don't follow CGC Comics. They're doing a signing with Jason Fabok and Jeff Johns in their CGC signature series. You send them the book, they sign it, and they grade it, and it gets the yellow label, which proves that they watched them sign it. This is big. They have like a ton of signature series, but I've personally never partaken in one. Hunter has never personally partaken in one. This is the one that obviously caught my interest. I mean, Jeff Johns, he's the, all hail the greatest comic book writer of all time. So,
exactly.
I'm very excited for that. And I'm like, oh man, how nice would it look having just all those covers, side by side with the 9.8s, which is the perfect rating, with the signature and the yellow label. Like, it's going to look so pretty. And I saw it's $110 per item if you want both of them to sign it. And I'm like, okay, maybe just one Batman cover. We'll see. I mean, you don't have to submit it to like December, so I have plenty of time. But also for those who don't have an interest in 3 Jokers getting signed, you could also get Jeff to sign an item and get it graded. So if you have perhaps Doomsday Clock, you have old Green Lantern or Flash issues, Aquaman, whatever, Justice League, Darkseid War, then this may be your chance to get it signed by Jeff and graded. So. And it's only $80 per item with just Jeff signing, which is still a little steep, but it's Jeff Johns. So, and I mean, I don't really know the history of CGC signature series, but I've never really seen Jeff Johns do one. So
no, unless it's like at a con, where they have CGC people there and they watch him sign it. So but I've never seen.
This may be a big, big deal for people who want that Jeff yellow label. I personally, like, after realizing, all right, maybe I can't send in all 3 Jokers, I'll get the Batman cover done by both of them. And then I was thinking, like, as Hunter pointed out to me, Doomsday Clock #1, which is that's a hot comic. And I have the Rorschach cover with. I'll take it out in a minute. I have the Rorschach cover with the. It shows like the Trinity logos.
I have that one too. Yeah, where you can turn it. Yeah,
I might get that one signed. I like that cover.
I mean, first appearance of Rorschach 2, Mime Marionette.
Yep.
So that's pretty good.
It's a big one. So, and then for those of you who don't know, I've been hunting down a Wally West run in single issue from Flash 1987. So I need only 8 issues to complete the entire run, and that's a 260 issue run, so that's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
So one of the ones that I still need is Flash 197, which is a bit tough to get because it's the first appearance of Zoom.
Yeah,
not the first appearance of Hunter Zolomon, though. He appeared earlier, but it's the first appearance of Zoom. It's a tough one to get, so I may be getting that book if the CGC, if everything lines up properly, I might get that book and get it graded and signed by Jeff, because I think that would be quite epic.
That might be the most pricey CGC you can get from Jeff too.
Oh yeah, I mean he's got some iconic first appearances. There might be some in his Green Lantern run, And also, I'm trying to think like, from like Aquaman #1 or something like that, or Justice League #1 with him and Jim Lee. Like I know they did a Midtown signing for that, so that's got a big hit. But either way, it's definitely one of Jeff's biggest issues of his career. So if I could get that Doomsday Clock 1 and 3 Jokers 1 signed, I would be a very, very happy boy because they would all look so pretty on my wall.
They would, yeah.
This wall, if you're on YouTube, this wall,
blank.
It's a little blank. It's my school background for now, but it could use some CGC comics. So
yeah, that'd be good. I got a few behind me.
So pretty.
Sorta, so
I'm so jealous. I have a CGC membership, and I will be getting books graded soon. But oh man, it's I'm so jealous of those frames, and they're so pretty.
I know they're nice. Yeah, first appearance Black Manta, first meeting between Spider-Man and Daredevil. I got a decent start, but anyways.
This was like a huge tangent, but 3 Jokers is out this week.
Yeah,
and it is beautiful. Before we even break down, the book, just give me your initial thoughts. Like right after reading, your first thoughts. What were they?
I was nervous to open it up. I was afraid it wouldn't live up to the hype, but it did. To be honest, also because we've seen. I thought we've seen so much because Fabox posted a lot of pictures online, and even Entertainment Weekly has been posting photos online from the interiors, but. Oh my God.
Wait, did you feel like we've seen a lot? Because when I was reading the book, like typically like, I'll try to look at like, I follow most artists. So I'm like, did I see this? And like, sometimes you'd be like, all right, I saw a good amount of this scene. When it comes to 3 Jokers, the only one that I really remember seeing is the Bat Light when they're in the aquarium.
Yeah.
And
the opening scene with him crashing into his father's grave.
Right. But I'm saying anything else? Maybe the Batcave and maybe the scene with Alfred. Like we saw a little bit of that because people were like, Alfred, what the? But for the most part, I felt like I didn't see a lot of this, and I was happy about that because
Me too.
a lot of it, I mean, first of all, Fabok art is, I could say this without question, he is the best artist in. I wouldn't even just say DC Comics. I would say he's the best artist in comics in general right now. I mean,
100%.
Everything he doesn't touch much. But everything he touches turns to gold. I mean, Dark Side War is absolutely beautiful. The stuff he did with the button is absolutely beautiful.
Swamp Thing,
Detective Comics 1000.
Yeah.
The page he did, beautiful. Yeah, Swamp Thing was great.
Swamp Thing Winter Special.
He's done so much great work. So, seeing him on a full book and really a full long book is really nice. And so many even when it doesn't have, text on it, just seeing a panel of him drawing is so good. Like
it's
especially the stuff at the aquarium I thought was so cool. Even like
the scar scene.
The scar scene was really detailed, really good. The bat flashlight on the oval, when it turned on, I thought that looked so cool. And big credits to Brad Anderson who's doing colors because
he nailed it.
Really, really good.
He's so good with lighting. This, just flipping through this, I'm like, damn, this was a comic. This was a good comic.
Does anybody else kind of want Jason Fabok on a Rocket Raccoon solo after seeing him draw a raccoon?
Yeah, his raccoon's actually really good. Makes you feel bad for it. But yeah, anyways, into the story itself. Now for Jeff's side of things, what did you think of Jeff Johns?
I mean, obviously I hold Jeff to a very high standard because he's built that standard for himself. He's put out so many iconic books, not just iconic runs, but so many like iconic stories themselves. Mm-hmm. So, to say something is like, this is going to be one of Jeff's best stories, I think is a very, hard thing to achieve. Right off the bat, I'm like, this is going to be one of Jeff's best stories because from what I've read, and I haven't read all of Batman Earth 1, but from what I've read of Batman Earth 1, I haven't read it all. I know, because I read it in the library, so I've only read the first volume. I need to get the trades myself.
I was about to say, Jeff has written my favorite Batman story ever.
Really?
Which is Earth 1, yeah. I don't know if I said that on the podcast before, but Earth 1 is my favorite
I've never heard you say that. Wow. I did not know your favorite Bat story.
Yeah, it is. But anyways,
that's also got great art in it from
Gary Frank.
Yeah. Jeff works with a lot of talented artists. But anyway, so right off the bat, I'm like, Jeff Johns' Batman's not something that we see that much, right? We saw him in, obviously, Batman. He has Batman Earth 1. But other than that, he's never done like a solo Bat book. He's done pretty much every other hero you could think of in DC of like the main 7. But
he said in an interview that DC actually wanted him on Batman for Rebirth. And he said
really?
No. Mm-hmm. He said if he were to be on a Batman book, he wouldn't want to just do a run. He would just want to do one story.
Which is he would want that 3 Jokers right there.
3 Jokers, yeah. And he would want that one story to impact Batman's history. Like he did with Superman and Doomsday Clock, like he did with every character he's ever touched, really.
Yeah,
So
wow.
yeah, this is his one story that I wanted to tell for Batman.
Yeah,
So
I mean, just based on the first issue, I really feel like, and we were talking about this before. We probably talked about it on the podcast before. Every time we got any bit of like a crumb of Three Jokers news, I would always say like this has potential to be on the Killing Jokes level, if not better, especially within the impact. Because whether or not you like, the Killing Joke as a story, it has done so much to impact the Bat mythos. I mean, it moved Joker
yes.
from Silver Age cheesiness to holy crap, that's a real villain.
He,
Also,
mhm.
it moved Barbara Gordon to what would become her best role in comics, in my opinion, as
Oracle.
Oracle.
Hmm.
And then it also even darkened how far we can push a Batman story and how far we could push Batman. So just the impact that it had, like it pushes so far. And I really feel like, and I don't say this about many modern stories, but I really feel like this could have a crazy impact on on the character. And Batman's a tough character to have an impact on because
Oh yeah.
so much has already been done with him. But it's crazy, and even like the idea of three Jokers, right? Because the idea of there's three men that are the Joker, like the Joker's existed for 80 years, but now we're going to retcon that there's three of them. Like just the initial idea, you're like, that's stupid. Like, why would they ever
It
do that? You don't touch the
it
Joker.
honestly is, but yeah.
Like especially with comic retcons. I mean, there's characters you just don't touch, right? You don't touch Batman. You don't touch Joker. You typically don't touch Superman. So, to get something like this, I mean that's pretty huge.
You're changing every Joker story ever. Like going back after, assuming reading all issues, you'll look back at a Batman story with Joker and you'll think, which one was this?
Well, and I was going to say that towards the end of this issue
Mm-hmm.
because there's definitely a debate as to which Joker was, spoilers, killed, and
Yes.
now I think who was it that made? I sent the post to the group chat. You had commented on it. That's how I saw it. But someone said that the Joker that was killed was the same one who did Death in the Family and Killing Joke, correct? Or they were saying
I
maybe
dis-
the post was saying whatever the post was saying. It was saying that the Killing Joke Joker and Death in the Family Joker are the same Joker,
yeah,
and they were saying like it's pretty proven. I thought that was more of a theory than anything,
it
but
is.
but but I think what's going to be fun about the next three issues, or now the next two issues after this, is putting together which Joker is which, and like you said, going back in old stories and saying, okay, which Joker did Death of the Family, which Joker was involved in, like certain events in DC Comics history. Like that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I kind of I guess let's just talk about the death since we're at that point here. So within this issue, one of the Jokers is captured by Batman, Batgirl, and Red Hood. Batman has to go find the others, so he leaves Red Hood and Batgirl to kind of just watch over Joker until the Gotham City Police Department arrive. And during that, this Joker taunts Jason the entire time, saying like, "Oh, like you're my Robin. Look at you. Like you were a sidekick, and now you're my sidekick, going around shooting people, disobeying Batman. That's exactly what I want my Robin to do." And he's triggering Jason and shooting
By
him.
the way, that was like amazing writing because I was like, wait a second, he's got a point.
Yeah, he did. So that was really well done. And seeing Jason have tears in his eyes that helped his character so much. Like he's afraid of Joker in the end.
Yeah.
He's angry at him, but he's afraid. And you see him have flashbacks to him being a kid getting hit over the head with a crowbar by the same man, maybe the same man. Eventually, he does end up shooting this Joker in the head and killing him. So, which is satisfying for Redhead fans, I bet, because I mean, you can't have Jason kill Joker because Batman needs Joker for future comics. But in this case, you can't have him kill Joker. I don't know if it is killing Joker though. I feel like that is just the death of the family Joker, and if it is the Killing Joke Joker, I'd be disappointed
Oh,
because I
well,
want.
I was gonna say that if that is the Killing Joke Joker, then yeah, not having him have talk to Babs or taunt Babs at all, and I guess obviously he doesn't know it's Babs, but talking about his achievements, like why would he not bring up the Killing Joke?
Yeah,
So, and yeah, I thought that was a weak fan theory that they're the same one because I think that adds way more depth that each Joker is attached to each Bat of the three that we have for a reason, right?
mm-hmm.
One is attached to Barbara, one is attached to Jason, one is attached to Bruce.
Exactly.
So I kind of like quashed that theory. Like, nah, there's no way it could be the same one.
And even then, during the meeting of the three Jokers, You see one of the Jokers dressed in what he was wearing when he shot Batgirl, and one of them dresses what he's wearing when Jason kills him here. And so I feel like the one dressed like with the fedora on and then the Hawaiian T-shirt, that is the one that shot Barbara, and that is the one who is still going to be around next issue. So one other theory that I found was interesting that I want to bring up since we're talking about theories here. Next issue, Killing Joke Joker, assuming that's him, is going to die, and the last issue, the other Joker's going to die.
You think all Jokers are going to die?
I think it's very possible that every Joker will die here. And then I don't know what DC will do then. I think that's a possibility. Probably not.
Man.
Probably not.
I mean, my thought, obviously, after the first issue is that if death is on the table, two of them will die and we'll be down to one Joker, because you don't, I feel like going after the story, you don't want to have the idea of, which Joker is running around, and, you don't want to have two Jokers at the same time. So I was thinking we'll be down to one Joker regardless. I don't know that DC has the balls to kill all three of them. I really don't think so. I mean, listen, Jeff is the GOAT. There's a reason for that. I don't know that they'd kill Joker. I mean, listen, maybe they're willing. I mean, they killed off Alfred, and I didn't think that was going to happen. So,
yeah, that's a good point. So it's possible. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. The anarchist Joker, like the main Joker, he said for their plan, like they want to try to make a better Joker. So maybe these three Jokers will die and a new one will emerge, a new modern take that'll be completely different from the others. So there's this plan to quote, "We do what we always do. We try to make a better Joker." So they have a plan, and it's not just, hey, let's go kill people. I'm sure it's not that. So they have a plan for sure, and we just have to wait and see. One thing with the Joker dying, one of the Jokers dying, does this mean that this is the only interaction we'll get between the three Jokers, is this 3-page meeting?
I wouldn't be surprised if we get some flashbacks, because I
explaining,
like more of the plan and more of like how did the three Jokers meet?
Yeah,
I mean, I know Joker doesn't have an origin, but like,
at least how did they meet? Yeah,
like do they just all of a sudden decide, hey, we look the same?
You look like me.
Yeah. I gotta say, because we talked about the art, but I feel like I didn't fully express myself. The pages where they were doing the flashbacks, like the Killing Joke one especially, and also the Death in the Family one, because that's Fabok like originally drawing it. It's not like using old panels. It's Fabok's take. So to see Killing Joke, which is iconic art from Brian Boland, to see it like this is amazing, and how he draws it in the very Killing Joke style, but it's still Fabok style, and it's like so beautiful. And then the Death in the Family, seeing it from Fabok's point of view,
it looks
beautiful
classic.
Because Joker finally doesn't have a 20-inch chin like he does in the original. If you look in Death in the Family, Joker has like the most square and like 20-inch chin when he's killing Jason. So, and he still gets the square chin here, like especially that bottom middle panel. But oh man, it's so good the way Jason draws it. I mean,
and at the same time, it looks classic. Yeah,
like I thought I would die on the hill that Fabok's best work was Darkseid War. I think this issue tops it.
We'll have to wait and see before I say my opinion on that. Because Darkseid War is my favorite comic. I don't know if it could be beat, but maybe we can here. I don't know. We'll have to.
I mean, because I just think like it's also like the perfect designs of every character. Like, to me, that is the perfect bat suit. To me, that is the perfect Batgirl suit, and to me, that is the perfect Red Hood suit.
Yeah,
everything, it fires on all cylinders. Like I personally, I've never really been interested in Batgirl's look post Burnside, when they changed it to kind of like the purple team
with the homemade
look. Yeah,
made suit. Now it's like she lost the cowl.
Yeah. Now she doesn't even have the cowl. I think this is like when I think of Batgirl, this is the suit that I imagine. Same thing with Batman. I love the yellow oval. And Fabok doesn't like. I think some artists can make the yellow oval look cheesy. This looks absolutely perfect. Like every design is on point, and yeah, this is it's a 10 out of 10 book, because it's not only is it pushing the boundaries in writing, but the art is also just top notch.
Yeah, damn it. Yeah,
that's two.
Yeah, we'll be counting here. Even then, like Red Hood, I wasn't keen on the suit when it was first revealed, like 2-3 years ago. But now looking at it, because it's more of like a hoodie than a leather jacket, it's so good. And I love how it has like the Robin lines at the top of the chest. It has like the R on the belt, which could stand for Robin, could stand for Red Hood, could stand for I don't know.
I'm like, where is he going with this?
Right away, I'm just like, was he called something else? No, he wasn't. Never mind. Race and Rod. I love how he has the red belt, and even around the boots, he's got the red there, so it's just highlighting a bit. Also, the helmet. I like the helmet so much. Red
Oh,
Hood
it's
for
so
the
good.
past year has had kind of like a Mortal Kombat kind of mask with the hood up. Again,
Yeah.
he's Red Hood. I prefer the helmet 100%. It looks way better. And even then, when the helmet gets knocked off, you got that mask there, the Robin mask underneath to show, hey, where he came from. 10. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Although, I was kind of like, ugh, when Gaggy came back.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Gaggy, the little hobbit that Joker carries around, I guess, as his jester. Weird character. Glad he died. He's just like a creepy guy with like a bowl cut and a taser, and it's like, all right, glad he's dead. But
No,
because
no
of
offense,
that,
no offense to creepy guys with bowl cuts that listen to a hero story.
yeah, I'm sorry, but I had a bowl cut too, actually, as a kid. So, you know, I had it for years. But Gaggy, it kind of adds to the mystery too, because who says it? Either Jason or Batman says Joker hasn't used Gaggy in years. Why is he bringing it up now? Showing that, oh, one of the Jokers is from maybe the Gold and Silver Age. So I like that. That's a good attention to detail, actually, now that I think about it more. Gaggy's the best part of the book, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it.
The book
Uh,
was an 8 out of 10 before Gaggy, but once Gaggy shows up, it goes to a straight 10 out of 10.
100%. Um, what cover did you get? I don't know if I asked.
Well, so when I went to the so I never actually finished that story. So I ordered from eBay. I just realized I never went full. I went too full circle where I started talking about CGC, but God bless you. Uh,
Thanks.
and anyway, so I went to the comic store fully expecting them not to have it because they said, I ordered it so late, and I knew I ordered it so late, so I ordered it online. I get there and I'm like, hey, they know, like, I don't even have to say my name. They know my name and they get my pull list. So I'm like looking at stuff in the front of the shop. Like they have like a cool comic rack that has like old issues like Death of Superman and, some minor
Yeah.
keys of like first appearances in the front. So I was just kind of flipping through those a little bit.
Mhm.
And he's like, all right, I got your comics ready. So I walk to the register and it's Flash on top, then and I could see Daredevil underneath. So I was just expecting those two. So I was like, oh, thanks. And then like he hands them to me to kind of like inspect them first. And I'm like, this feels heavier for 2 comics. And I'm like, I pull out the third one. I'm like, oh, whoa, it's 3 Jokers. And my voice probably wasn't that high. I wasn't sounding like a mouse.
I'm
But
hoping I'm hoping it was that high, actually.
oh boy.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you guys got 3 Jokers. And he's like, oh yeah, we got a ton extra. So he's like, even though you ordered it late, we added it to your poll. I was like,
Cool.
oh, man, thank you.
Just
So
thank you.
so now I have 2 versions of the Joker cover with the crowbar, which is fine. I could take, whichever one's nicer. If I want to, sell the other one or even, give the other one away to a friend who I think would enjoy 3 Jokers. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the full story of how I got 3 Jokers. I was delightfully surprised to get the comic, and my comic shop owner was telling me that with the trading card that came with 3 Jokers, the Joker and Batman.
Yeah. What's the back
Daybog.
look like? Right. Oh, just like a regular Joker card. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like a regular like Joker. It's got like a DC logo, but yeah, the Joker.
Yeah.
Did you not got one?
No, I don't know if it's shipped
Gotcha.
in Canada or not, but yeah, they weren't
Gotcha.
available anywhere.
Well, my comic shop owner told me about it is that when you order it, the card comes for free. But when you order it on the site where you get your DC comics from, they have like a list of like, you click like I want this many orders of 3 Jokers and whatever. All the way at the bottom, like past all the trades and collectibles that you could order that week, that's where the trading card was. It wasn't included when you click,
Oh,
check on 3 Jokers. So my shop owner's like, oh, I wonder how many people didn't end up with the trading card because they didn't
yeah.
realize that you had to also check another box.
Maybe that's the case for why I didn't get them. But
Possibly.
yeah.
Now, I will now have 2 copies of this. So next time I send you a package, I'll send you a
Oh,
copy
cool.
of it so you can have one. 'Cause
Thanks.
I don't need 2 of them.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. I could add it to my collection of things that come with comics, like the Batman Catwoman wedding
I
checklist.
still have that somewhere in my dresser as well. Yeah,
I
it's
still have that. Yeah, I found it the other day actually. Like, oh,
yeah.
this was a disappointment.
Oh,
But
a
anyways,
big disappointment. But you know, it wasn't a disappointment. Three Jokers. Three
yeah,
Jokers was beautiful. Three
10.
Jokers was everything I wanted. I'm the biggest devastation is that I have to wait a month now. And
Yeah,
please, please, please do not let that get delayed because I don't know if I could wait long.
it won't unless there's another global pandemic. Because Jeff Johns was like, man, I really messed up with Doomsday Clock. So they weren't even going to announce the release date for issue 1 until issue 3 was almost complete. And
Well,
Fatbox
with
said recently, I think, that issue 3 is done. So
with 2020's track record, another pandemic may come by the time the next
yeah,
Three Jokers comes out. So everyone will be
yeah.
infected with laughing gas and look like the Joker. But
Hey,
yeah, this comic was truly beautiful. It was truly amazing. I think it has very strong potential to be 2020's comic of the year. 10 out of 10.
real quick before we go to the next comic, in the issue where Batman and Batgirl they find those 3 people that were infected, and one of them is alive, so they put him in the ambulance.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the Joker's theory because it looks
Oh,
like the Joker.
well, I mean, yeah, of course, it looks like the Joker. Like
But like,
he's supposed to.
but yeah, he's supposed to like he's all dressed up and everything. But I feel like that actually legitimately is one of the Jokers.
That would be a pretty cool undercover type thing.
Yeah, because they said like, oh, the fingerprints were burned off. There's no way of identifying who this really is. Probably just a homeless person. Just put him in the back. I'm like, I feel like that's like the story being
Way
like,
too much dialogue to just be a random extra.
yeah, because they could have been like, oh, his name was like John Doe and he lived in here. Let's just tell his family. The end. That's one panel. But instead, they went through like a few panels being like, oh, we can't identify who he is. Therefore, I feel like it's someone important. I feel like we'll see that guy again in the next issue or the third. But yeah, theories.
I'm
Anyways,
here for the theory. I think that could be right. But yes, 10 out of 10.
next comic that was really shocking. Daredevil Annual #1. Is that the next one we're going to?
Yeah, I just want to show off for the YouTube viewers, the one I was talking about before, the Doomsday Clock cover. For those who don't know, I don't know, it turns into the Trinity and
Did
turns
you
into the
have that
Rorschach.
ready?
I was taking it out of the box. I was trying not to knock over my comic box while not
Okay.
knocking over my microphone. It was, for those who are watching on YouTube, you may have seen my Mission Impossible bump, 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 bump while I tried to
I
reach
didn't even
over.
notice.
I was so scared that I was going to knock over my box. But yes, I got Doomsday Clock 1. Just this will be created and signed by Jeff soon.
Nice.
Anyway, yes, Daredevil Annual 1. This is something that I've been ready for since this cover came out because it is one of my favorite Daredevil covers
That's a Darsky himself did. The
that
writer.
Chip himself drew. Chip is the writer. Chip Zdarsky is the writer of Daredevil. He's a fantastic writer. He also does some art. For those of you who have the Spider-Man life story trade, he did the cover for that. I mean, it's just like Spider-Man with a blue background, but it's pretty awesome.
It's simplistic, but it's nice. Yeah.
This one is very nice. I remember when this cover came out, and I was like, "One More Day," which One More Day, of course, is an infamous story in the Marvel universe with Spider-Man.
So this,
Famous for the wrong reasons. So
in this
yeah,
case,
so this was
it
like, okay,
says, yeah.
typically One More Day means we're going to be getting a retcon, which I didn't really put together until I got the issue, and I'm like,
I didn't either. I wasn't ready
ew.
for that. So JD said one more today because the D in day is the Daredevil logo, so the two Ds.
I do not all of a sudden have a stutter. It was
Yeah, for
intentional.
those just listening, not viewing. But the cover itself is Daredevil. Like it looks like he's in like you can't tell because you can't really see the background, but like a boxing arena. He has his fist up and he's wearing like a yellow boxing jacket with a hood up.
I originally thought when I saw the cover that he was wearing gloves, and then when I got home, I realized he's not wearing gloves. It would have been cool if he was wearing boxing gloves, in my
Yeah,
opinion. But I still love the cover.
gloves. Yeah, it's a fantastic cover. It's one of my favorites for sure. Not as good as Fatbox. I'll say just because Three Jokers came out.
Oh, well, I mean, that's like, you're comparing two way different things. It's still a beautiful cover, though.
But right off the bat, I don't know how I feel about this issue. I don't. I need you
I
to make my opinion.
see. I need you to make my opinion because I. This is the first time I've ever felt like this reading the Zdarsky Daredevil issue because, and I've mentioned this before on the podcast. After every single issue, I feel like this, warm feeling inside. I think they call it happiness because it's so good. I mean, every issue is so good. Hunter read so many in a row, and he thought they were so good. And
9. Yeah,
this one caught me right off guard from the beginning
I didn't
because
expect this.
we get the return of
Mike Murdoch.
Mike Murdock, which is Matt's twin brother. Now, Mr. History of the Daredevil, aka Hunter,
Kind of.
explain to those who don't know about the whole Mike Murdock, but be prepared if you get this wrong, Harper will be in your DMs. Go.
Yeah, he's already typing. He has like his finger already to type. Okay. Mike Murdock was a character created a long time. Well, character created a long time ago. Basically, Matt Murdock has some issues with his secret identity, and so he decided to go by Mike Murdock and say, "Hey, my name's Mike Murdock, and I'm Matt Murdock's twin brother that you've never heard of, but I exist, and I am Daredevil." Therefore, Matt Murdock was okay, and Mike Murdock didn't exist at the time. Mike Murdock looked pretty much exactly like Matt, of course, because it was Matt Murdock just playing a role, except he could see. So Matt Murdock acted like he wasn't blind, and he's like, "My name is Mike, and I am a rebellious brother that is also Daredevil." That kind of got retconned. It kind of got forgotten. Years later, in
Harper's typing. Harper's typing.
yeah,
You
I
better
forget
be
his
ready.
run. It was recent though. It was one of the more recent runs.
Brubaker or Wade?
Oh no,
Sewell?
Soul, yeah, his run. I think. Oh God, I think it's Souls.
Harper is our fact check.
Yeah, I think it's Souls. He came back. So Soul brought Mike Murdock back as an actual character due to some, because comics basically. So Mike Murdock became more of a character instead. So Matt, so he brought Mike Murdock back the idea, but as a character, and Matt's like, "I don't understand. I made you put my head, but now you're here." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I exist." So Mike Murdock existed, but he didn't really have all his memories because he didn't have a childhood. You know, he just existed suddenly. And he was more of a rebellious character. He didn't really care because he was like, I shouldn't exist here. And then no one ever touched him again. So this is Zdarsky bringing this character back that was created out of thin air, and he's bringing him back. But in this case, in this issue here, the annual, so now we're to today, he decided to make Mike Murdock officially a character throughout Matt Murdock's life. So instead of just appearing in thin air, he now was born at the same time as Matt and grew up with Matt Murdock. Meaning when Matt's father died, Mike was around. So that's big retcon. Because Matt wasn't alone anymore. He didn't have that loneliness. Before he just had his father, and then his father died, and instead of him being alone until he met Foggy Nelson, he had his brother. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, so for me, it was like, I'm a pretty avid Daredevil reader. I've read a good chunk of Miller's. I've read most of Bendis's. I've read most of Wade's. I've read most of Brubaker's. Right, like most of these runs I've read. So I've never read Charles Soule's Daredevil. I know he's a pretty famous writer for his Darth Vader comics. His Daredevil was something that I completely missed. So
Okay.
Mike Murdock, to me, when I started this issue, I was like, who?
Yeah.
Because really my only experience with Mike Murdock that I can remember off the top of my head is when I was going through my uncle's comic collection. It was like Daredevil, like number 28 or something like that. I'm probably wrong, but it was like an early issue of Daredevil from like his original run, and the cover is like a close-up of Daredevil's face, and it says "The Death of Mike Murdock." And I remember flipping through that. I'm like, oh, Mike Murdock. I wonder.
Yeah. So
I was like, that's not his father's name though. So I was like, I wonder who that is.
yeah, Matt realized pretending to be Mike was a dumb idea, so he acted like Mike died. He faked his death in a way, Mike's death, and said Mike's dead. It's just
Well,
Matt
I wasn't too far off. It's Daredevil 41.
Oh, you were close.
This is I don't know if you could actually see it on the screen, but it says
of,
the death of Mike Murdock. So
yeah, so Matt faked his death posing as Mike to get rid of the idea of Mike because he realized this is bad. But then Soul brought him back, and now Zdarsky's really bringing him back by having him part of Matt Murdock's childhood. So being as a kid, Matt really didn't change. He was still that kid where he's like, where his father was like, "Matty, you can't punch people. You gotta punch the books instead. Hit the books. You know, I want you to be a doctor or a lawyer someday. You know, someone important." That was still his father's way, and that's still what Matt saw. But Mike,
if they make a Daredevil animated series, I want you to voice Jack Murdock.
Oh, I already was casted, by the way. I'm going to be playing his father. But yeah, so in this case, you see right up from the birth. This all happened, by the way, due to this rock that I forget the name suddenly. The Norn Stone. which is a stone that you touch, you think, and you could change reality. It's like the reality infinity stone, basically, except it actually happens in this case. So Mike was able to steal it, and he used it to be like having exist. So right from the childhood, when Maggie, Matt's mother, decided to leave them, you see his father not only with just Matt, but with two kids banging on the door like, Maggie, damn it, Maggie, you can't leave us. And so now the father had to grow up not just with a single father with a blind son, well, just a regular son at this point, but with a kid who was more troublesome. Mike was a very troubled kid. He got into fights. He picked on people. He yelled a lot. He placed bets on his father. Yeah.
Very evil looking.
He's got like a stern look in his eye. So when Matt was blinded, he kind of stayed with Matt throughout the night.
Well, so Matt took his place at work that day. Mike was supposed to be working, but he was ditching work for something. So Matt, because they looked the same, took his place, and that's where Matt got blinded. Mm-hmm. Correct.
On his way to work or something, he had to push the old man out of the way and with the truck. So his origin's the same. It's just in this case.
It adds a little bit more like wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, place, exactly.
Right time, depending on how you look at it.
Mm-hmm. So now he was blinded, and then this same scene that's happened. We've seen this in other runs before, where Maggie visits her son when he's blinded in the hospital, and he hears her voice saying, like, "I'm sorry, I wasn't there for you." But in this case, Mike knows that his mother's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't there for you," but then she walks away from Mike, which turns Mike into kind of more of a bad guy, getting in trouble, getting gangs, getting kidnapped, having his father save him. So his father decides, you know what? Matt's going to college. He's being a good kid, but you're never going to be a good kid. So I'm going to train you to fight. So his father trains Mike to fight in a way, but Mike doesn't seem to care. He seems to not like his father. He gets more into shifty business instead, doing scams on the street. And eventually, Battling Jack Murdoch dies. And Mike seems to just not really care. I didn't really get that. He seems like he cares. Oh yeah, he does care, but he's like, damn it, I like messed up big time.
Well, so I was wondering with the rock in the circle.
Yeah.
When he's there and he says, I'm sorry, and he says, I'm sorry, and he's laying in the circle. I was a little lost there what the circle and the rock were.
Well, the rock is what you touch to change your life.
Gotcha.
You touch it, you think of something, and something changes. So Mike, being the character that I just appeared at that era, didn't have a childhood, he used the rock to make it like he did exist this whole time.
Oh, so you can see like his whole life.
The circle, I think that's just, to make it look more.
Well, yeah, no, I got you.
The circle, yeah.
I really liked towards the end, really the last 3 pages, seeing Mike Murdoch talk to Daredevil, obviously not realizing who Daredevil is, that it's his brother. And just kind of the way they talked was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in a rebellious kind of way.
Yeah, exactly.
And then at the end, a guy named Butch comes into the place into the boxing ring after Daredevil leaves, and it's actually the Kingpin's son.
Yeah, that's what it's kind of saying it is. No, the Kingpin hasn't had a son since Bendis has run, as far as I know.
Yeah, well, I
could be wrong about that.
Well, I was wondering, because I know about it in Bendis' run, but was it in anywhere else in more modern? Because I know Kingpin appears in other titles, but the last line of Butch is, my feelings about my dad aren't that complicated. Here's to you and me, and taking what's rightfully ours, taking what used to be my dad's. Here's to Wilson Fisk, and clinks the champagne glass with Mike Murdoch. So, listen, Zdarsky said that this is going to build to, the next, year at least of Daredevil. So I'm here for it. This was the first issue that didn't give me that feeling of like, and it's not that it's bad, because I still think it's, quality.
It's written well. It's just,
it's written
like,
well. I think I was just really thrown off more than anything. Cause I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, I'm actually enjoying it a little more, because I think it's actually like there's a lot of potential for story there. I'm a little nervous, but I think Chip has executed everything so well so far. I don't see a reason why he won't execute this well.
I'm sickened but curious. Like, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of Matt growing up with a brother that was like rebellious and stuff.
I mean, to be fair though, and one of the things that people have said about Chip is that, though his Daredevil run is great, he hasn't really done anything that really pushed the status quo. He's done the Daredevil's miserable, he's done the Matt kills someone, he's done the Daredevil no more. Like he's done stuff that is big stuff, but it's not exactly pushing the boundaries for Daredevil. This, on the other hand, has potential, at least, to really push the boundaries for what Daredevil is, who
Yeah.
Daredevil is,
Yeah.
what the character's all about, and what the character could be. I mean, what will Mike Murdock become? Will he be a villain? Will him and Fisk's son team up? I mean, I just think there's a lot of story to be told there. And I could see it ending somehow along the lines of Matt and Wilson putting their differences aside to deal with Butch and Mike.
Yeah. It's just you're right, there is a lot of story potential with this character, and he could be really good, or he could be, I doubt he'd be really bad. I think he'll be written well. It's just, I don't know how I feel about this change. It's like, what if my name is Barry Allen, my mother was killed when I was a kid, and my father went to jail for his murder, but I had my brother to be my family. It's different.
That Flash story was already told. It is called Chain Lightning. Cobalt Blue turns out to be Barry's brother.
That
Boom. Roasted.
Okay. And the only person I had was my sister. There.
No, but I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think it is, listen, anytime you retcon something, there's potential to mess things up terribly. But this is one of those things. I mean, maybe it's just because the run has been so hot because Chip has done no wrong. I really trust him. I'm nervous. Don't get me wrong. I'm nervous because I think, obviously a lot could go wrong in a retcon, but I really trust Chip, and I think Chip hasn't given us a reason to not trust him. So, under a lesser writer, I'd be nervous, but it's been so top notch. I'm ready for, and he would, and in all the interviews about One More Today, he would always say, like, things are just teeing off. Like, you thought Daredevil was intense for the first, 18 to 20 issues. Just wait. I think this is going to be epic.
Yeah. I trust him too. I'm just not the biggest. I mean, we've had superheroes deal with the long lost sibling before, like you just mentioned with Cobalt Blue, and even Scott Snyder's Batman run hinted at Batman having a twin brother too.
With the Court of Owls, yeah.
Yeah, and it's still hinted, like still today, that's still canon, that Batman might have a twin brother somewhere. It's just no one ever really talks about it.
Yeah.
It's still technically canon. So we've seen these stories done before, but in this case, it's changed. So Matt grew up with this person. Barry Allen didn't grow up with Cobalt Blue. Batman didn't grow up with, or like Bruce Wayne didn't grow up with his Court of Owls brother. They just found out they existed later on. In this case, Matt grew up with this kid, with Mike. So it's weird. I don't know how I feel, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, I was about to say, we're going to have to let it play out. And this is something that you talked about on your Instagram story and that I replied to because I wanted to bring it up on the podcast. We have a month to wait till the next Daredevil, and we have a month to wait till the next 3 Jokers. This is going to be tough.
Yeah. But we have like 2 weeks to wait till the next Flash, right?
Well, and I was going to say, if it makes you feel better, I could be wrong here, but I think the week that 3 Jokers comes out, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the week that 3 Jokers comes out and Daredevil comes out is also Speed Metal and Williamson's Last Flash. So that's going to be a huge week.
Jesus.
If that is all in the same week, I think it is. So
okay, yeah. Wonder if Williamson wants to talk about 3 Jokers. we'll probably do that after.
But anyway, so that was Daredevil. What would you rate? I think it's such a hard book to rate because it really just depends on what comes next. But I for what it's worth, I enjoyed this. I thought it was well drawn. I thought it was at least an interesting new story.
I give it like a out of 10. Question mark 0, question mark 1 out of 10.
I'm not like, I don't know. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm like, an 8 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's well written. It's just I don't know how I feel about the story itself.
I think when the Mike Murdock story is done, however long it goes, we're going to be able to look back at this and be like, this was either the launching point for something awesome, or this was for the launching point for something that was meh. So
yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Hopefully something
Chip
awesome.
we trust.
In Chip we trust.
Last comic before we get into DC FanDome is Flash number 760.
Flash 760. This was a good issue. right off the bat, because we've been showing a lot of love to artists today. Love Christian Duce's Flash. It was interesting to see him draw other members of the Flash family. He's drawn a little bit of Avery and Wallace, and I don't remember if he's drawn Impulse yet, but to see him draw the whole
I
Flash
don't
family,
think so.
including Jay Garrick, other than Wally West, including Jay Garrick, was really nice to see. He's got a very clean style. I love the way that he draws speedsters, and he's someone who doesn't really. He kind of has like a more traditional style of drawing speed, where pre Wally West they kind of did like the blur behind them as opposed to like the trail of lightning.
Yeah.
And in this run, you've had the extreme. You had Carmine Di Giandomenico who did lightning
Lightning
when you were like laying in bed,
everywhere.
and then
Yeah.
you have Deuce who draws. I mean, there's a little bit of lightning, but it's mostly like the whoosh
Blur,
effect, which I
yeah.
like.
Mhm.
So it was a beautiful issue, just visually to look at. As for the issue itself, I personally enjoyed it. I could see where some people would have wanted it to go another way. I mean, there's times where like, it makes you question why not just use the Reverse Flash family, because the things they do are pretty messed up. They talk about
Yeah.
digging up Nora Allen's grave. They talk about killing every single person in Central City. Typically speaking, that's not something Captain Cold would do. That's not something his sister would do. That's not something like if the team was the rival Inertia and Eobard,
And Daniel
then
West.
and well, Daniel West was redeemed, but let's say he was misguided by Eobard, then yeah, that makes a little more sense of them going like full out like evil. When I'm seeing, at the end, we're gonna kill every citizen in Central City, and Captain Cold standing there, I have a harder time buying that.
Yeah, well, that's where it comes from later on the issue where Captain Cold and Golden Glider, they were like, no, like, Grodd, don't do this. Like, we're not that kind of person. We're not those villains.
But then they're there at the end. Like
Yeah.
that was what kind of threw me off. Like
Yeah.
unless they're gonna tell me Grodd's controlling them through the mind, that's fine, but show that then. Like I thought it was bizarre to have that in the same issue. But
Good point.
let's look at the positives of this issue. I thought Jay Garrick was awesome. Just seeing him was so cool, and there's a lot like of Return of Barry Allen type flashbacks where when Eobard's in Barry's body, he messes up Jay Garrick, and here he's fighting Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
Just seeing Bart kind of like fanboy out to Jay was really cool.
Yeah.
Because Wallace and Avery have zero clue who this is, and Bart's like, he's the first Flash. Like that was cool to me.
Dummy.
The references, like Williamson said, there's a lot of references. I like Eobard and Barry's body standing over Jay and saying, what is hard water anyway? Because Jay's powers in Flash Comics #1 came from him inhaling hard water chemicals, which is like, it sounds kind of like vaping, but it's like a 1940s thing.
It's 1940s vaping, basically.
1940s vaping. He was on a cigarette break while it happened, so that was a nice little reference there. Like I said, there was cool references. Like Jay actually brings up the rival, which makes me question even more: why is the rival not in this arc? But also,
it exists.
It felt like when he said rival and he gets cut off by Bart. Obviously, Bart's the impulsive one. He's going to cut you off. I was really hoping they were going to bring up Inertia, but that kind of gets rectified later in the issue. So,
I want to know your thoughts on that.
Okay, so we'll skip ahead to the Inertia stuff. So that happened in the Speed Force, right? I loved a lot of the Speed Force stuff. I thought Scott Collins was a good choice for the artist there. I think he does a good way of kind of portraying the Speed Force with Jesse, Max, and Bart. So all of a sudden, Thaddeus shows up, Mr. Inertia. It's weird. I was surprised, even though he's on a future cover, I was surprised to see him. I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, wait, no, he was on a future cover. I knew he was coming back, but still, I was kind of just like, oh, he's back.
I was the same reason. I completely forgot he was returning.
I kind of like the way that Barry talks to him, because it's exactly how Max talks to him in Impulse Mercury Falling, when it's like,
I don't want to fight you because you're just
I don't want to fight you. I feel bad for you. Like, I want you to have everything Bart had, and you don't deserve to live like this, live a life of hate. So I thought that was really good writing for Barry there, and it's like some of the most like Barry Allen stuff that we can get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I thought that was really good. They kind of had him pop out, but I felt like they left room for him to come back. And obviously, if he's on a future cover, he'll likely be on Eobart's team for the next 2 issues. So
Oh, is there only 2 left?
yeah, today this is 760. He ends on
Weird.
762.
Weird. Okay. Yeah.
Is what I said. It's sad, but reading this issue actually kind of makes me wish we had an Impulse title going on right now, because not only did you get the Thaddeus Dawn stuff with Inertia,
But the Dawn.
Bart talking to his father, which no one's corrected me on that, so I think I'm correct. From what I mentioned last time on the podcast, that to my recollection, I don't think Bart has ever spoken or interacted with his father. I can't think of a time that it happened. Maybe it happened in passing. I truly cannot think between the Impulse title and the Flash title, and that's kind of my wheelhouse. I can't think of a time it happened.
Harper.
So this is them interacting, and it's really short. I would have liked for it to go on a little longer, but at the same time, I understand you have so much to cover, and well, you're down to your last
2 issues.
run,
Yeah.
so.
And even then, Bart's like, "There's so much I want to ask you, but I'll come find you."
Which again, it feels like it almost felt like they were setting up something with Bart, because he's like, I'll
They
catch
are,
up with
yeah.
them soon.
Yeah, like I'll come catch up soon. I just got to deal with this thing, but I'm on my way.
That's why I was like, is Speed Metal going to lead to a Flash family book?
Please.
I mean, if it is, like, I will, like, oh my god, that would be so beautiful. But,
Please, or at least like death metal.
But it almost felt like they were building to another like a Flash book, whether it was Impulse or Flash Family. So if that's the case, I'm excited. And like I said, I really want to get more of Williamson's Bart. I think he has a good understanding of Bart just from the little pieces we've seen, and he should be on Young Justice. Too bad it's being canceled.
Yeah, he's still impulsive, but he's not always impulsive.
Exactly. Like he's matured to be the Flash at some point.
Yeah.
Barry's return to his body was pretty good. I like the way they drew it. I could like picture this kind of like in an animated way. So
yeah, like kind of almost like an explosion sound effect with static.
So we get the "We Are the Flash" moment, which I had to make the meme about, of course. And
yeah,
there's a lot of Iris accounts wishing death upon me because of this.
Actually,
yeah, they're not so happy.
Wow.
I actually didn't even really mean. I mean, listen, I'm no fan of the CW in general, but the purpose of this meme was more that the quote is more fitting when it like people will accuse me of not understanding "We Are the Flash" on the TV show. I understand it. I do get it. Like, she's saying we're married, and when you marry someone, it's like the two of you become one in a way. You guys are much more connected. And when you're a superhero, I guess you're even more connected. I totally understand the line. I just thought it was a very awkward line, especially at the time. But the meme was more to point out, like, CW, no. Comics? Yeah. That was what I meant by the meme. So to the Iris accounts who, let's say they're listening.
I don't think you're very good at defending yourself here. I think that's still not a good thing for them. He's saying.
I mean no harm. I think Candace Patton's a very talented actress, and I think, her portrayal of Iris. I mean, I don't think the show is good in general, so maybe I'm biased. But anyway, I'm digging my own grave further here. But
yeah, you are. Just stop.
we have the "We Are the Flash" moment, which was like, okay.
In my point of view, that's also just saying like "We Are the Flash" as in, hey, look. Barry's there, he's the Flash. Jay's there, who's the Flash. Bart's there, who was the Flash. And there's these speedsters here.
Max, who was the Flash for a day. Jesse, who was going to fill in Wally's shoes while he was gone. Like
all these characters could be the
Wallace,
Flash.
Who's the Future's End Flash, and Avery's the Flash of China. So, yeah, we are the Flash.
Damn, you just connected all the dots there. I completely forgot about Future's End. And yeah, Flash of China is technically Avery's official superhero name.
Yeah, she's Flash. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a fine moment. I really wish Wally West was in the panel, because, seeing all the Flash family together is cool. And I'm waiting for it in Speed Metal, because I know we're gonna get the panel of them all together. But
he's busy sitting on Mars saying he's tired of these Earth and these people.
We get Max and Bart's short reunion. It's more of just Max, and it's like, reunions can wait, Bart. We have some scores to settle. Like I said, I feel like they're building to a Flash family title, because it seems like a lot of it's like wait. So
we can wait, Bart. And the new writer is going to be doing like what, a Dr. Alchemy story?
Yeah, it seems like it's very just Barry. It almost feels like a filler arc. I mean, we'll see how it actually is.
Yeah, it does sound like a filler arc. So you might be onto something here. I hope you're on
Maybe.
something.
Williamson's next title is Flash Family. Honestly, I'd be okay with it. If he wrote the Flash Family, I'd be okay with it.
I would too. I love that actually. He really gets all these characters. So yeah. Huh.
But at the end, we have Reverse Flash has gathered everyone around to kill every single person in Central City. Like I said, I think Captain Cold and Golden Glider and a few of the other rogues being there is a bit of a misplace, but it was cool to see all the villains together, and some Flash villains that we haven't seen in a while. You got the Fiddler in the front, who's a Golden Age Flash villain
Mhm.
from Jay Garrick. You also have in the middle right there Ragdoll, who's a Golden Age Jay Garrick villain.
Which is
Yep.
cool is he returning.
Yeah, in the top left, you have some Wally West era villains. You have Wally's version of the Thinker. You have Tar Pit. You have Girder. You have Peekaboo, who I don't think has been seen since Blitz. Honestly, I can't think of another time. I mean, maybe in like a full panel of everyone that's locked up, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Peekaboo, and I know it's just show off villains, but it's like every era of Flash has villains. You have even ones that Williamson came up with, like Bloodwork there. So it's a cool last panel and 2 issues to go. I
It's
I didn't
happening,
think this
yeah.
is the book that I would be dreading to end, but oh man,
Oh, man, yeah, I'm really excited for the ending, but I'm also dreading it in a way.
yeah,
I don't want it to end. Flash has been so good right now. It's DC's best ongoing if you don't count like events like Three Jokers. So
yeah.
I really do like
Yeah,
Flash right now.
I really enjoyed it too. I would give this book this issue like an 8.5 out of 10. It definitely has its mishaps, but I thought it was for what it's worth,
Yeah,
it's good. And
I
like I
say
said,
8.5.
I really feel like we're building something better because man, it feels like there's a Flash Family book in the works, which you'll
Definitely.
catch me buying every single issue of it. So
Of course. All right, now we are just over an hour in and we're just starting DC fandom. We just talked about just 3 issues for that long. I don't think we've done that before. Ever.
I was happy. Listen, it didn't feel rushed at all. I was
No.
really able to get all my thoughts out. I liked it. So
I talked about how I almost got arrested. It was a good time.
me losing my train of thought in the story, it's a good time.
Yeah, now
Uh,
for DC fandom, which happened. How was
Yeah,
work,
so
JD?
welcome to the news. DC FanDome, which is a first of its kind event, which is basically a virtual Comic-Con for all things DC, happened this
Free
past
of all
weekend.
charge. Yeah, how was
Uh,
work?
I, Hunter was a smart man and requested off from work.
Yep.
I was not such a smart man and did not request off from work. I worked an 8-hour day on the day of DC FanDome, and I was sad
Yep.
because
He
I
was
missed most of
messaging
it.
me the whole time. He's just like, "When's the flash panel? I'll do my break then." And then I tell him, and then like 30 minutes after the flash panel, I was like, "I'm going on break now." I wasn't able to
I was
go.
about to go on. I was about to go on break, and then kept getting caught up. And then my manager's like, "Huh, what if you just wait half an hour?" And I'm like, "What if I don't?" And then I did. And yeah, it's. Listen, I was able to watch Snyder Cut live.
Oh,
I was
nice.
able to watch, well, at least the start of Milestone Comics. Then I was like, I made the Mike Wazowski face, like, and then I left. And I watched another one. I watched the Batman live.
Nice.
I watched another one live. I don't know if it was another trailer or something. I'm trying to
Again,
think because I strategically took my breaks and I was like, okay, 15-minute break here to watch the Snyder Cut, and then it's like 20 minutes. I'm like, and then it's like another 15-minute break, and then I was strategically going to the Home Depot break room. Home Depot, that's a great place. I went to their computer room to go watch the Snyder Cut trailer, and yeah. But anyway, yeah, you watched way more of DC
I
fandom than
watched
I did
all of
because
it.
you were off.
I watched literally all of it,
You saw the
which
weird
was
ads of the
tiring.
claymation. I what the hell was that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
The
there's weird
not even the
intermissions.
ads, because it was like Superman, Batman, and Robin, but they're like clay and they're like weird looking, and
Yeah, and they're voiced by kids. I don't know what
yeah,
it
I was
was. I
I
don't
was
know what they
lost the
were
whole
trying.
time.
Yeah, who were they trying to appeal to there? I didn't get it.
I think Comic View was saying that they're old skits from like DC Nation, but they weren't funny either.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, this is
Yeah.
awkward. Black Adam. So I watched the entire thing. I sat down. I remember I woke up early. I got us some coffee. I sat down. I'm like, I'm ready.
Tim Hortons coffee.
Actually homemade because Yeah, well, Tim Hortons homemade actually.
Oh,
I don't have it. I usually have some packets around me, but I don't have any at the moment. But
okay.
yeah,
I needed to know that the number one name in Canada coffee was being advertised on a Hero
yes,
Story.
of course. We always Tim Hortons is not. It's not sponsoring us, but if they want to, they don't even have to
They just
pay us. They can
literally
just send us
they
coffee.
don't even have to pay you. They just have to send you coffee. I don't even drink coffee, so they can send it all to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, send some for you so you can join my addiction. But homemade Torrance coffee. I had that already. I sat on a chair and I'm like, all right, here we go. And then like 5 hours went by. I'm like, oh my god, there's still like 11 hours left. I feel like
Hunter
this is
developed like a 5 o'clock shadow during this time and was
yeah.
like,
I'm
"What
like,
year is it?"
I remember I got up when it was over and I felt like every bone in my body just cracked. I'm like, wow, was that worth it? I don't know. But anyways, so since this came out about a week ago, if you from the time you guys are likely listening, we aren't gonna go over like, oh, did you know that there is a Wonder Woman trailer? Instead, we're gonna go say like the main things that happen. We might skip a few things, like for example, the Flash TV show had a panel. Didn't reveal really anything, and then they revealed a few things here and there, but nothing worth talking about really. So we might just skip a few panels here and there. I have made a list that I've sent JD of the main things to talk about that are important, our general thoughts on it, bit of information for you guys in case you didn't see it, and just I don't know, yeah, what we think of it. So the fandom started off with, by the way, fantastic intro. It played like a better orchestrated version of the Superman movie theme, like the Christopher Reeve Superman theme. It
Yeah, the
was
John Williams theme.
so good, and you can see like clips of everything in DC ever. You can see like animated Superman shoot Heat Vision, then you see Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern shoot some Green Lantern ring, then you see Harley Quinn from Injustice 2 to like you see everything DC in this like probably 2 minute montage. That was a great way to start. It brought the hype. I was talking in a group chat with like 5 other people that were watching it live and we're all like, let's go. Really hyped. And it started with Wonder Woman. So with Wonder Woman 84, they started off with just a general the cast coming on saying, hey, we filmed this movie and it was pretty cool. Here's a trailer. So then the trailer came. So that's the main thing to talk about from that is the trailer. What did you think of you saw the trailer, right? I imagine you saw it.
Yeah, no, I obviously didn't watch it live. I had your guys in the group chat initial reaction, and I'm like you guys were like all freaking out, and I'm like trying to get answers. Like you guys are, like typing stuff like in all caps with exclamation points, and I'm in the Home Depot aisle, like,
Trying
and I'm like,
to
what did
we're like, oh, the music's so good. Cheetah.
yeah, I'm like, what about Cheetah? So yes, I think it looks good. I'm still a bit skeptical of this movie, given that
Really?
I don't know. It's such a weird. It's a timepiece. I just don't want it to be cheesy. That's my
Yeah.
biggest concern.
It'll have cheesy moments, I'm sure, but
It will. I just, I hope the whole real movie's not like that. And I don't know. Still with the Steve Trevor stuff, how are they gonna pull it off? I mean,
I don't know. It seems like we kind of got some answers in this where here I could give you anything you want, and then it shows Steve Trevor. So
yeah,
maybe he just
yeah.
I
I'm
don't,
just
I don't know.
wondering. Oh man, wouldn't that be brutal if he gets taken away at the end of the movie, like when she defeats the villain and it's like
That's what
he
I feel like
fades
is
away?
gonna happen.
Oh man, she's gonna lose him back to back.
I
Oof.
think so because she's not around in Batman v Superman, so he's not old
True.
either. I'm pretty sure he's just dead. So we'll have to wait and see. I really like Chris Pine as Steve Trevor, so I want him to live, but I understand if he doesn't. So
Well, until Wonder Woman 84 makes a billion, and then they make Wonder Woman 2020 or 2025, and he's back again.
yeah, the trailer will be the same exact thing, except the ending is like parachute
Oh, it's
pants.
art.
They'll be like skinny jeans. Is
or
everybody skinny nowadays?
no, I feel like it'll be like them showing him memes, and he's like, and like he thinks everything's a meme. He's like, oh, that's a meme. Like, no, that's a trash can.
We'll just recreate the trailer, but 2020, Wonder Woman
Yeah,
2025 coming
yeah.
soon.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'm definitely excited to watch it. Wonder Woman's one of those movies that, while I think it's good, I've always kind of found it. I hate to label it overhyped because it is good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. When people were giving it praise as like the greatest DC movie since The Dark Knight and all that, and I don't know, I felt like it was being talked about more than it actually was. Even though I did enjoy it, I felt like people were kind of like, it's almost like they were treating DC like the kid who does terrible in school and he finally gets like a 68 and he's like, woo, like that's how they were treating it. So, when Wonder Woman came out, I felt like that almost gave, and I haven't watched it in a while. I probably haven't watched it in over a year and a half, 2 years maybe. So maybe I need to rewatch, but I don't know. I felt like it got overhyped in some ways. So that's why
fair.
I'm kind of nervous it's going to happen again with this one, where it's like, it'll be good, but then it's kind of just like, DC does it for the first time since The Dark Knight. A
We
brand
see
new
that.
direction for DC.
Oh my god, we see that every single movie. We see it every trailer too. Look at the trailers for any trailer that came out this past weekend.
Aquaman, Batman or
Everyone's like, "This
Justice
is." It looks
League,
like DC's finally starting to be better. Like,
yep.
oh my god, here we
Suicide
go
Squad,
again.
yeah.
Look at the
Yep.
Batman trailer comments. Looks like DC's starting to be in the right direction.
Get
About
their stuff
time.
together.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
I saw you say this on Aquaman. I saw you say
Yeah.
this on Shazam. The Joker.
Yep.
That bothers me. Anyways, Wonder Woman. I think the Wonder Woman movie is really good. I actually really like it a lot. I don't have any problems with it. I got the comb there. See?
Yeah, I told you I'd be brushing my hair throughout the show. So
Yeah. So Wonder Woman 84. What do you think of Cheetah?
Cheetah was the one going in that I was very skeptical about because I thought Kristen Wiig, is that Wiig?
I
Is
think
that
so.
her last name?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought Kristen Wiig was a very odd casting choice. I
For
thought
Barbara and Minerva
I mean, she's mostly known for
comedy.
yeah. She's mostly known for comedy roles,
Mhm.
So I when she got cast, I was kind of shocked actually. I was like, okay. The trailer, I mean, it doesn't give you too much about her, but I'm looking forward to seeing the story. I hope it's not too stereotypical villain, but I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, I mean, I think she looks good. I think they did as best as they could with her. I was expecting like a rebirth kind of route where she is like pretty much a cheetah, no long hair or
Yeah.
anything. But I like the way they went. A lot of people have been comparing it to the Cats movie, but I think it looks way better than that at least. I like how she has a growl to her voice.
Yeah.
So I think she looks fine. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. After that, right after the Wonder Woman panel, the Gotham Knights panel came on, which at first we didn't know would be Gotham Knights. We just knew new Arkham game.
Well, we knew it was Warner Brothers Montreal, so we had a feeling they've been teasing the Court of Owls back game for the longest time. So everyone's thought was it's going to be set after Arkham Origins, and it's going to be a Court of Owls game. It was not.
Nope, not at all. It was Gotham Knights. So what do you mean set in the Arkhamverse? It's going to be outside the Arkhamverse.
Is this confirmed?
Yeah, confirmed.
Okay.
Not Arkhamverse. You could play as Nightwing, Red Hood, Batgirl, or Robin as Tim Drake Robin, not Damian Wayne, which a lot of people were confused for at first, including us. But it is going to be 2-player, not 4-player. It could be single player if needed to be. It will be a full-on story featuring a level up system, health bars, and experience points, which is a little odd, very not Arkham-y. Besides that, it looks like Arkham, but it's not Arkham at all.
The beginning of the trailer too, like the cinematic,
Yeah.
part of it looked exactly like Arkham Knight.
Yeah, exactly. And Batman was Kevin Conroy, which is Arkham Knight's Kevin.
Was it Kevin Conroy?
I'm pretty sure it was.
I didn't think it was when I heard it.
Maybe I'm wrong. That's not a fact. So, if you were
Is-
hearing this,
Listen, it's a History of the Flash fact that I did not think that was Kevin Conroy.
okay. Well, maybe you're right. You made me doubt myself. I totally thought it was Kevin Conroy. So when the trailer first came out, and even afterwards, I'm like, this is Arkham, but it's not. It was actually confirmed later on in the panel that it's not Arkham.
How do you feel about it being separate from Arkham?
We'll get to it in a second, but I feel like it seems more like an Arkham game than the Suicide Squad game, which is Arkhamverse. So I kind of wish it was. I feel like Arkham Knight left a perfect Bat family moment.
I would agree, but at the same time, I think you were a little bit stuck in certain stories if you follow Arkham Knight because Jason is Jason at this point. He's the scarred Arkham Knight. Tim and Barbara are married.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Terrible.
that.
Tim has a buzz cut. There's no possibility of Alfred, because of Arkham Knight, because he, went away with Bruce. I don't know. I just all the a lot of the villains have already been kind of solved, like Mr. Freeze and all that. And I don't know. It seemed like to me there's more story flexibility if you separated from the Arkhamverse. It can
'Cause I
still
guess
look at the Arkhamverse, but I feel like there's more that you can do with the characters, with the villains, whatever you want to do. So I am a little bit glad that it's not Arkham.
okay, yeah,
And
that's
if it
fair.
ends up bombing, it's then you can't tarnish Arkham's legacy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Which it could. Gameplay wise, there was also about a 7 minute gameplay. Did you
Yep,
watch it at all with
I
Mr.
did.
Freeze? Okay, it's Batgirl and Tim Drake.
Which, by the way, Mr. Freeze is a perfect example. If it was connected to Arkham, it would have been like, oh, they poo-pooed Mr. Freeze's story because it was so.
And yeah, in Arkham Knight,
Even though it was
yeah.
a DLC, it was a great story.
Yeah, exactly. Of him with Nora.
Kind of had a few games tearing up.
Yeah, it was good. Then he was just like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna freeze Gotham. So
Yeah,
it's like, okay. The gameplay, very big Avengers game vibes I got from it. Like we just
yeah,
played the beta last week, so I got huge vibes from the Avengers game. So I mean, I think it could be polished very much. I think it will be good in the end. I think I'll have a lot of fun with it in the end. I'm sure we'll play it together when it comes out. Uh, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm looking forward to play Nightwing.
yeah. Well, yeah. So, I thought there were some things that looked a little blocky in the gameplay, like JR's Superman art. It's a little blocky, but
Yeah,
the I think that for a first look, it's not bad. And I think, typically and especially like Avengers is the perfect example, from your first look to the final result, things change a ton.
mhm.
So I think this is going to be really good. I really believe in this game. Please don't make Tim and Barbara together. Please don't make Jason and Barbara together. Please just Dick and Babs. It's not hard.
Dick and Babs is it. I mean, it looks
But
like Tim is very young in this game.
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what skins are going to be available.
Right,
Um,
so for Tim right off the bat we saw he has his Red Robin suit like pre 52 with the cowl. A little bit different. It's not the exact suit.
yeah, it was a little different.
So it gives me maybe Injustice vibes where you can kind of customize certain pieces. And then he
Yeah,
has like a Robin suit that's very similar to Damian Wayne's where it's kind of long.
yeah. Well, and that started the confusion of, is it Damien or is it Tim?
Yeah, and it is
So
confirmed to be Tim. So
yeah. So I listen, I think it has a lot of potential. We'll have to see how it kind of shapes up as time goes on.
mhm.
I'm very curious to see what the story is going to be, because Court
Court
of
of
Owls
Owls.
without Bruce is interesting. I'm assuming Bruce is being held captive by the court.
Yeah, something like that. I'm sure Bruce is alive and maybe I'll have to fight him at one point. Which will be interesting.
Um, I I agree with you. Nightwing is the one that I'm most looking forward playing with.
I think Jason could
Uh,
be fun too.
yeah, Jason could be fun. It really depends like how they do the guns. I could see it being a lot like how Black Widow was in the Avengers beta,
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
like being able to like grapple the guns. Like the guns aren't your only weapon. Like you can fight hand to hand, but you could take
Mhm.
out the guns. So
In the end, he was trained by
um,
Batman, so yeah, you could do hand
I,
to hand for sure.
I think Tim could also be fun with the staff if they add the staff. I'm more concerned with like the skins, because if we get like a three Jokers pack and I could have Barbara in the three Jokers suit. Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh.
and get the I would want some finger stripes on Nightwing, Bigfoot
I
style.
literally took the words out of my mouth. Finger
Yeah,
stripes is the way to go on Nightwing.
three Jokers, Red Hood,
Yeah, three Jokers, Red Hood, Tim.
and I would
That
love
Red
a new.
Robin, like the comic Red Robin suit is fire.
I would love a new 52 Tim Drake suit. I like it a lot.
Ooh. It depends on the artist who draws it for me. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks a little,
Yeah, it
but
looks a little bad with the weird like Vegas.
yeah, like the feathers in the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it maybe like the traditional, Robin 90s suit, or they could do the 1 year later where it's kind of like the black and orange instead
Mhm.
of the green.
I mean, it looks like
So
there's also unique skins. Batgirl in the gameplay has kind of like a pink suit, or purplish pink suit with white eyes. I don't recognize that suit at all from
yeah,
comics.
it looked kind of like Burnside, but not
Kind of, but
exactly.
it wasn't.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like there's
So
going to be unique skins too, where it's just the game made it, which is cool.
yeah, yeah, no, I'm here for it. I wonder if like I could see Nightwing having the red New 52.
Oh,
It
that'd
would
be
be
neat.
cool if they put in Disco Wing from the 80s.
I would love that actually. That'd just be fun to run around in with the
Uh,
ponytail.
oh
They're really long.
God, that's great.
Yeah, that goes down his back.
But yeah, overall, I think the game looked good. It's funny because after Arkham Knight came out, and this is when I was pretty big into GTA 5. I remember saying that it would be so cool to me if you were able to do a superhero game, and this was after Arkham Knight, so I was thinking Batman, to do a Batman game where it's, in GTA 5 you could switch between Trevor, Michael, and
The other guy.
Lamar. No, Lamar? No, that's not
Frederick?
right.
Francis?
Oh, oh,
Franklin?
Franklin. There you go.
Okay.
Wow, that was bad. Oof, jeez. Anyway, I played that game so much. But anyway, how you were able to switch between them and toggle between them of like, all right, I want to go play as Michael now, or I want to go play as Trevor now, and like them all having select like moves that were custom to them, and puts you in a different area of the map. Like they could really do cool things with this. Of like when you turn into Nightwing, you start in Bloodhaven instead of starting in
Okay.
Gotham.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that would be too big of a map, but
yeah, I mean, Bloodhaven's close by. They could do that.
yeah, they could do a Words and Across the Bay type thing. I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential there. And like I remember saying this, like after GTA 5, I'm like, they should make a Batman game like this. After Arkham Knight, like they should make a Batman game like this, switch between them. Especially when in the end of Arkham Knight you could play with Nightwing and you kind of switch back and forth. I always switch to Nightwing. So
Yeah, same. Or even
I was
City
like,
when you could play
I
as
really want to play
Catwoman.
as him. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think this has potential to be groundbreaking. And I probably said it a few weeks ago. I think after Miles Morales was announced that DC needed to step up their game when it came to video games. It looks like they're bringing it with the next
Yeah.
one as well.
It's
So this
coming
one
up,
and
yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. You're definitely right. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm curious for the new info coming out, and no full official release date yet. We just know it's 2021. After that panel came the panel where JD was working, the Flash panel, movie panel. Oh, did you watch the whole thing? Like the whole panel?
No, I've only seen clips of it. I have not seen the full panel.
Okay, so they start off by saying that Ezra was born to play the Flash. He's the perfect casting for the Barry Allen. What? Oh
Oh,
God, yeah. The guy with black hair playing the blonde guy who is very hyper and very much not like Barry. Born
scared
to
of
play the
bugs
Flash.
and bullets and
Yeah,
obnoxiously
I
tall
just
people
push people and run away.
and
No,
brunch.
you don't. What is brunch? Uh
Cringe.
anyways, the panel itself felt like, hey, look at our director. He directed It Chapter 1 and 2 because the whole thing was showing behind the scenes of It and It 2. So it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You got a good director. Looking forward to it. Balances horror and comedy. That's cool. That's a good choice. The only information we got from this at all was that concept art that's been going around, two pieces of concept art of Ezra Miller will be getting a new suit, and one of the concept art features him in the new suit with Michael Keaton Batman in the background, kind of putting the final nail in the coffin that yes, this is confirmed to happen. Michael Keaton in the same suit, obviously, but yeah, what do you think of the new suit from what we kind of see in those shadowy pictures?
It reminds me a lot of Injustice 2's Flash suit,
Mm-hmm.
where you don't have the white logo behind. It looks a lot like that. I should probably make a side by side post at some point, but I don't know. I think it's.
Yeah,
I
same.
mean, I feel like CW kind of nailed, like, in their most recent season, like how the Flash suit should look for the
Oh
most
yeah,
part.
that's a great Flash suit.
So, it's really only missing the ear bolts and the
Yellow
yellow
boots.
boots, and that's it. So that's why I was hoping the movie Flash could knock that out of the park. I don't know. It's okay. I posted about this, and Eunice messaged me about it, and he said that they got to try to differentiate themselves from the CW, and I thought, like, why though? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you're playing the
the
same
CW is
character.
nailing it. Why? Like, and I brought up that Henry and Tyler, they have different Superman suits, but it has the general, this is Superman, and they didn't need to be differentiated. And he was saying that like it's different when it comes to Flash because of how big the Flash show is as opposed to Tyler Superman being a side character. I don't know. I if that's the reason, I think that's kind of a dumb reason to try to,
Yeah,
oh, we don't want to be alone. Well, why? You should get
yeah,
the best suit out possible.
yeah.
If,
You're
if
right.
anything, I said to Eunice, why not do the regime Flash suit from Injustice, which Ezra kind of had the makings of it, but not quite, where it's a little bit more metallic, not full metallic, but it's a little bit more metallic. You have the huge ear wings,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's got like a little bit of a different look. Like that would have been cool. It's different than CW if you need to be different than CW, but it still
Exactly.
respects who the Flash is. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see it. Concept art typically is not, picture for picture what it's going to look like as an actual suit, but it reminds me of Injustice 2, which is not,
It's okay. Yeah. That was kind of the only information we got the Flash and the same idea. I think it's all right. It's not bad. It's just, it's the when the Flash panel ended, the Suicide Squad panel began, which was the cast of the Suicide Squad with James Gunn playing a little trivia game before going on to behind the scenes video and who's playing who. So it's weird we didn't get a trailer. James Gunn said, like, we shot the movie, it's all done shooting, we're in editing now, but we don't have enough to show a trailer. Batman's just like, we shot 25% and here's the trailer. Yeah, so they showed
that's
behind the scenes, which is kind of weird to see because we've seen nothing of this movie and we're seeing all this behind the scenes of them in a jungle and them in a prison and them in like a swampy area and in buildings. So it's like, this would have been cool just to wait for the trailer. But, it was cool. Did you watch it?
yeah.
Okay. It looks cool.
John,
It looks like half the cast will
John
die.
Cena's playing a douchey Captain America.
Yeah, I like that Peacemaker. A lot of characters that even I haven't even heard of before. You can play like I've never heard of the Weasel before in the comics. So
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, James Gunn is taking like, hey, you appeared in one issue in the '70s in Suicide Squad, come on in.
yeah, I will
which
kill
is
you off.
which is, if you're looking through a dollar box and you come across some old Suicide Squad issues, you might want to put them to the side because you
Oh
may
yeah,
have
first
some decent,
appearances.
valuable first appearances coming up for the movie.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, first appearances can be worth a lot. And in this case, a lot of characters are very one-off characters that are definitely going to get their heads blown off.
Can't wait to watch Pete Davidson blow up.
This is Pete Davidson. He could climb anything. Just gets his head blown off. But yeah, it looks like a fun movie. It looks, what I just said. It looks like a very fun movie. It's not something that I'm like, let's go kind of thing, but we'll see it.
Basically, if this was 2014 and that he was showing like Dave Bautista is going to be Drax and Bradley Cooper is going to be Rocket Raccoon, people would be like, okay. Like, okay, yeah, it looks like fun, but who the hell are these people? So that's what I think James Gunn's going for. Take obscure characters and put them together and see what happens. So
Exactly.
I think it'll be good.
I mean, the only characters that I know will for sure live are probably Amanda Waller and Harley Quinn. I feel like anyone else has a good chance of dying here, which is
Oh,
pretty
you
exciting.
think Boomerang would die?
Probably not actually. Boomerang will probably
I
live.
think Boomerang. I could see Rick Flag dying.
Yeah, I could
Idris
too.
Elba, I think, is too big to die, and yeah, that's it. Everyone else, I think, has potential to die.
And they'll obviously won't kill Harley. So yeah, looks like fun though. Going on after that was DC's special announcement, which was the one where you had the Mike Wazowski meme too, because we didn't know what this was going into it. So a lot
Oh
of us
yeah,
were
yeah.
like, "Oh, it could be like." I
Well,
always
they
thought
said
some
they said it's a surprise
friends.
panel, so right away we were like, Man of Steel 2, like please,
Yeah,
please,
that
please. And
got me
then we
hyped.
set the bar a little too high, but then they were like, oh, it's going to
Mhm.
be a comic based announcement. So right away we're like, reboot, Alex
Relaunch?
Ross, Mark Wade, like
Yeah, and
what's it
Alex Ross during this was like, everyone watch DC.
coming soon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
coming soon. He's like posting pictures of Hal Jordan and Starfire, being like, "Get ready, DC fandom." Alex Ross had nothing to do with any of DC fandom. He was just trying to build the hype. I get it, but he didn't. His name wasn't mentioned. I don't think any of his art was shown, so it's like okay. So it ended up being a few different things. For comics, were being revived. I didn't quite catch this.
Yeah, so Miles, I watched the beginning of it, and then I'm like, once I realized what it was, I was like, okay. But it's Milestone Comics, which is an imprint of DC, which is where most famously Static Shock came from. They're being revived. Now, this is something that they've kind of talked about for years at this point. They've wanted to use like Static Shock on Young Justice over the years, actually.
Yeah,
But the getting the rights for Milestone has always been tough. There's always been a big debate whether or not they're part of DC Comics. So for the past probably 10 years, it's like Milestone's coming back, and then it's never comes to anything. This
yeah.
is probably the biggest of those announcements to actually be like Milestone's coming back. I'll believe it when I see it, because there's been too many times where it's been like Milestone's coming back this year, but in the case that it is coming back, they got a few titles going on. One of which is going to be a new Static Shock, and they also announced that a Static Shock movie is going to be
Yeah.
happening. It's in the works.
They briefly said that. They kind of just said like, "Oh, and they're get ready
Skidded
to
over
ask
it,
for a
which is
movie."
another thing that a Static Shock movie's been in production since 2008. You know, like
Yeah, so it's Black Adam, but at the same time, again, I just kind of took that and just tossed it over with the Deadshot movie.
oh god.
Okay, I don't know if this is actually gonna
Comic Book
happen.
Hunter said Static Shock is not happening. You heard it here first,
Well,
folks. So
just
you
like
can go
history
back
of
to
the
this YouTube video, and if he's wrong, I want you to harass him.
please do. Just like JD said that the Joker movie will never happen on whatever episode of Hero Story.
I will never live past that one. But
But
anyway,
I am saying that it's not gonna happen. I don't think Static Shock movie will happen. I would
as,
love for it to happen. I just don't feel like it will.
I mean, as a proud owner of Static Shock #1, let it happen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well,
That's
price will just go up then.
yeah,
That
that's great. But you know, I think I used to watch the show as a kid, and I enjoyed it. And I think
I did too.
Static is one of those characters that I think a lot of people relate to.
Mhm.
So I think, you know, seeing him on the big screen could be cool, and getting a new comic's cool as well. I don't know if I'll read it. I guess it would depend on who's the creative team attached to it before I commit. But
Yeah, I'll wait and see.
I'd have to see some stuff. But yeah, it's cool that he's getting a title. It's cool that Milestone's coming back. But again, at first we were like Man of Steel 2, and then we were like reboot. So when it turned out to be Milestone, we were just like, okay.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, all right, well, you know, moving on.
And I'm really sad Man of Steel 2 didn't get announced, because I mentioned this in the group chat. I think that its last chance was DC FanDome, and now the FanDome's done. I don't think Man of Steel 2 is ever going to get announced.
No, yeah, it's not. Henry Cavill only appeared for the Snyder Cut scene, and he was only there to ask a question. That was it.
Yeah.
That was pretty sad.
So
Well,
sad.
after the Milestone stuff was announced, there was a few different panels. We're only going to talk about the big ones that happened. So the next big one was Black Adam, which had The Rock basically answer a few fan questions, taunt the Justice League, and show off some concept art. Featured Karnak. It featured the suit again. We got to see the suit
By Boss Logic and Jim Lee.
Yep, they worked together just like they did for the first concept art, which came out a few months back. Just showing off what the suit could look like. Again, it might not look like this in the end. The Rock kind of briefly went over the origin story, how he was a slave who met the Wizard, gained powers of Shazam, said Shazam, never said Shazam again. So that's basically the origin of Black Adam. He said that he is going for a superhero route, but he doesn't like to work with others. He does things his own way, which is kind of Black Adam's character. JSA will be in this. We had the actor playing Atom Smasher, which so many people seem to hate so much. I don't know why.
The comic boy especially hates.
Yeah, I don't have any experience with this actor before, so a lot of people seem to hate him. He came into the panel when like, "Are you safe for the JSA?" And everyone was like, "Oh my God, JSA is coming to this movie," but it's only gonna be Hawkman, Dr. Fate, and one other person that I forget. Cyclone.
Another like minor character.
Yeah. It was gonna be Hawk Girl, but they decided to change that.
I don't know. I feel like there's more to it, or at least there could be more to it for the JSA, because a JSA of 4 is a little low. I do think there's going to be another character.
Yeah, in the end, it hasn't even started filming yet, so I feel like it definitely could.
The two most, maybe not the most popular, but the most like well-known characters of the JSA are Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and Jay Garrick. So to not include either of them, if you're going to do JSA, seems a bit odd to me.
It'd be really cool to have Alan come in. Yeah. And even Jay, just to get that into the storyline. This movie seems to be taking place in like possibly like the 60s or the 70s, I guess, in that case.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't say a time, right?
But since the JSA are in it, it sounds like they said,
he's a little older.
So The Rock said at one point, he was monologuing as if he was reading the script. He's like, and then I became Black Adam. 1,000 years later, I'm still king, or something like that. He said something like that. So it doesn't take place like we thought it would take place like thousands of years from now when Karnak was fairly fresh. But it seems like it's taking place more like the 60s, 50s, something like that, since the JSA are around, which I'm okay with. That's cool. Yeah. That was kind of all we got from the Black Adam panel. But right after, we had a few other panels. And then Shazam panel came on, which was hilarious. Did you watch this?
I didn't. This is one that I did not see at all.
please look it up. It is so funny. Like the cast is hilarious, except Freddy. The guy who plays Freddy, he has a mustache, and it's weird because he still has the same face of like a child. So
It was so weird to see him with a little mustache. I was like, whoa.
yeah, that was a little
And
strange.
that's, by the way, that's the concern with these kids. If you want to do Shazam 1, Shazam 2, and Shazam 3, where they finally meet Black Adam, you got to film them back to back because these kids are growing up.
He already has a
I mean, the one who
mustache. It's a
plays
little weird.
the one who plays Mary, I mean, she's like 23. She's like a grown woman.
Yeah, and she was playing a 17-year-old in the first movie. So, I mean, granted, they could still do Billy Batson as like a 20-year-old becoming Shazam. It's just a little weird.
Yeah.
A little weird. So I'm hoping they film Shazam 3 right after too. I understand because of COVID they had to stop for a bit, but the title will be called Shazam Fury of the Gods. It wasn't really said here, but Mr. Mind is likely the villain. We don't know if Dr. Sivana will be in it or not, or Black Adam, but Mr. Mind seems to be the main villain. All the Shazam are returning, and as well as a comedian. I forget his name. Damn it. He was in the panel, and he was like saying that he's going to be a big role. Ah, damn, I forget his name already, but he was hilarious. He joined the panel, and he's like, hey, can I be in the movie? And Zachary Levi is like, yeah, sure, man. And he goes, thanks, John Krasinski. And he just moves on. He was really funny, and they were just making jokes the whole time. But the only big news was it's going to be a little bit longer than the first movie, I believe they said. The villain, Mr. Mind, will be in it, but they're also talking about other villains too. None were said, though. And that it's going to be called Fury of the Gods. Those were the main things. So, yeah. After that, Aquaman had a very pointless panel, to be honest. It was just Patrick Wilson and James Wan just saying, hey, remember filming Aquaman? That was fun, hey? And then they just laugh about how good friends they were. Entertaining, but we didn't get any information whatsoever from this. The main thing that we got, the only thing that we got was that Ocean Master will be returning to the sequel. The panel ended very suddenly too. Usually all the panels are just like, thanks for watching, thanks for being on DC FanDome, we can't wait for you guys to see what's coming next. That's how it would end. But this one, James Wan's just like, hey, Patrick Wilson, you want to be in the sequel? He's like, oh, am I going to be handcuffed the whole time? And then they start laughing, and then Patrick Wilson goes, well, I guess the handcuffs are made of seaweed, so I could just kind of bite through, right? And they started laughing, and then it ended. So
Yeah, I thought that was bizarre that there was nothing. I take this as Amber Heard is not getting fired, because if they were going to replace her, I feel like FanDome would have been the place to announce a new Mera. So
yeah, James Wan said the script is almost complete, so they haven't finished it, but maybe they will. We have to wait and see, because even Jason Momoa wasn't part of FanDome. Like this Aquaman panel was very much just, they asked us to come here. We don't have any information to tell you, but here we are. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Something I forgot to write down here that actually happened before this. Snyder Cut panel happened. What did you think of that?
the one that I watched, it was good. I didn't love the song choice. I do think Hallelujah is a great song. I just didn't like the version of it. And it's
Yeah,
the same problem I have with in Watchmen.
Watchmen.
They used the worst version ever of Sound of Silence. The
Hello, Darkness, my old friend.
what's the band? What's the group? Geez, wow,
You
this is
got this. Green Day,
full
Blue Man Crew, Full Moon,
mental collapse. God,
Full Moon. Okay, the song.
Anyway, it's wow. This is Simon Garfunkel. There we go. That took way too long.
Oh, you did. Oh, I look like
anyway,
Garfunkel.
But anyway, he uses, like, in Watchmen, Zack Snyder uses possibly the worst version of that song I've ever heard before. And every time I watch Watchmen, I cringe because that song is like it's a beautiful song, but it's a terrible version. So in this one, in the Snyder Cut trailer, they use Hallelujah, beautiful song. I thought terrible version. At least, I mean, I don't know if maybe that version has personal meaning to him. I know he used the song because of his daughter, so perhaps maybe they like that version, but I'm not quite a fan of that version. So
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. It kind of that's the only thing that kind of took me out of it. I mean, watching the trailer was cool, but I was like, I kept thinking, like, I don't know. I'd like to see the trailer redone. Like, if somebody could re-edit it, like a Man of Steel type trailer, I feel like that could be cool. But,
That would have been better, more dramatic. I feel like this one was just like, hallelujah, it's actually coming out.
yeah. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. I was really surprised to see it start with Darkseid. Uh,
PS3 Dark Side.
well, I was about to say a lot of people online were saying how Darkseid looks so good.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't get that.
I think there's a lot of people kind of kissing ass to Snyder because I thought that
He looked like a video game character.
it's like claymation. So
Yeah, I guess it's not done yet. Like I'm sure
yeah,
it'll look better. But people are like posting pictures of him next to Thanos. In, like,
yeah, I saw that comparison. They're like he looks better than Thanos. I was like,
no, he
what the
doesn't. You can hate the MCU. I get it. A lot of people a lot of the film bros hate the MCU. But Thanos' CGI is top notch. Like that looks real. That looks like a real giant alien. Darkseid looks like a video game. Why
yeah.
are you comparing the two?
Yeah, it's very odd, but yeah, I definitely didn't expect the trailer to start with Darkseid, but we'll see how Darkseid's presence is. Other than that, it looks good. You know, it definitely has me hyped. The idea of it's going to be either
4
you can watch
hours.
it as 4 1-hour episodes or 1 4-hour movie. That's cool.
Mhm. So they're going to do the episodes first, and then they're going to do the movie. For those living in a place like myself without HBO Max, Zack Snyder is in the process of getting it streaming elsewhere. For in case you don't have HBO Max, so Netflix, please.
Though I kind of hate that in a way. I mean, no, it's good that it'll be on like Netflix for you, but like should the goal not be to roll out HBO Max to Canada then, as opposed
Yeah,
to like
I don't.
this was the same problem I had with Titans for Canada. It was like Titans is coming to Canada soon. It'll be on Netflix, and it's like, and then when season 2 was coming out, they're like, it'll be on Netflix for season 2, and it's like, why are we not focusing on making this like our streaming
Worldwide.
service available as opposed to putting it on another streaming service? Like that was bizarre to me.
And even
So
then,
I hope they don't make the same problem, but they don't make the same mistake rather with HBO Max of not making it worldwide. They've definitely made it more accessible for worldwide, but like not being in Canada, like come on, what are you doing?
I feel like that's a big country that you could promote it in. Like we're right next to America,
Yeah.
so even then, Titans like came out like a year after it ended or something on Netflix.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
crazy if you guys get the Snyder cut late. Oh my
I will be
god.
finding other ways to watch.
Take the trip to the US. You can come watch it with me.
Or yo ho, I'll find another way way online. But yeah, I'll go to the US literally. I'll stay there for 4 weeks to watch every episode. I'll just stay at your house if that's cool.
Yeah, of course. Now, did they say whether the episodes would be out first or the
Yeah,
movie would be out first?
episodes first. So they'll do 1 hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, hour 4 on a weekly basis, and after that's out, 1 week later, full thing.
I mean, I get it. I don't love it, but I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather watch it all at once, but I don't want to get spoiled, so I'll be watching it weekly. So, oh well. Looks good though. I'm looking forward to it. We'll have to wait and see how good it is. No release date yet. I was kind of expecting a release date, but we didn't get one. Ray Fisher sounded really nervous in it. I don't know if you saw.
He did.
They did like little things where Ben Affleck came on and it's like, hey, what's your favorite superhero? And Zack Snyder said Dr. Manhattan for whatever reason. Like, oh,
The
why?
cringe.
Is
Ah,
that a
man.
superhero?
I thought that was such an odd answer because, and that's since I was watching that in the Home Depot break room. I was I was messaging the guys in the chat, and I was like, "Did he just say Manhattan's his favorite superhero?"
Yeah.
I was expecting a Watchmen answer, but I was not expecting Manhattan.
I was expecting Superman. Because he said,
Oh no,
well, besides Batman, he said. So Batman, I guess this is his favorite. Because Ben Affleck was like, it's probably Batman, right? Like he was trying to
Yeah.
like pressure him, which was funny and all. But then he said Dr. Manhattan. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was expecting maybe Rorschach or something, but I was like,
Mhm.
Manhattan, huh?
Yeah, even Rorschach, I'd be kind of like raising my eyebrow too. But even Ray Fisher, when he came on, he's like, hey, Zach,
Zach.
hey, I didn't accuse you of anything, so going on what we were just mentioning with Titans. Titans had a panel too that I watched for some reason, which was the cast watching scenes from season 1 and 2 for like 30 minutes.
Why
It
would
was
you
really
subject
weird.
yourself to this?
I just didn't want to get up because I knew my back would crack and I'd be in pain for the rest of the day. This was like hour 7, so I watched it. The thing that they did confirm is Barbara Gordon is coming to season 3, and Red Hood is coming to season 3. About to be the smallest Red Hood ever.
Smallest Red Hood, and I can't wait for them to screw up Babs. And
Yep.
they recently revealed that Babs will be an ex-girlfriend of Dick Grayson.
Hmm.
So
Which makes sense.
get ready for the really shit drama between him, Starfire, and Babs.
Yeah. Is he with Starfire? I didn't finish season
I
two.
I couldn't tell you. I
I thought
don't
he's with
watch Titans.
Donna. But did Donna die? I didn't finish season two, so
Donna meets the wrong end of a lightning bolt.
oh, of course. Going on after that was the other game, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Another video game evil Superman.
But
Uh,
at least, Brainiac ship, Brainiac's controlling him.
yeah, that
It's not like it's just Superman's like, I'm evil now. Like it's like Brainiac controlling him. I think it's a little better. I mean,
yeah.
listen, I'm still like on the fence. I'm like, oh god, I had to watch Superman kill someone, but I think using the Brainiac control could be fun. I think there's a lot of potential for this game because you could actually take chances of like, we're gonna kill Superman or we're gonna kill the Flash. I don't know. There's
Yeah.
something cool there. Again, I think connecting to the Arkhamverse.
A little weird on the Arkhamverse because Deadshot's a different race here.
Well,
So
yeah. So Deadshot is Hispanic in
Origins?
in City or Origins.
He was in Origins, I know that.
I think he was
I
in
think
City too.
I think he was in City as well, yeah. He was
Either
definitely
way,
in Origins.
either way, he's Hispanic in the Arkhamverse, and he's like, like his complexion is lighter. I mean, he's still Hispanic, but he's definitely lighter. And then in this game, he's black. And then I thought someone was saying that Batman Assault on Arkham, the animated movie, ties into the Arkhamverse. I don't know that this is confirmed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know this either, but someone was saying, and they could be wrong. Someone's got to fact check this. Harper, are you still here? But anyway, someone was saying that Assault on Arkham is connected to the Arkhamverse, and if it is, I believe King Shark dies and
He does. He does.
Boomerang dies. No,
No.
yeah, maybe someone
No,
else dies.
Boomerang
That was
does,
the
yeah.
trailer.
King Shark does
So
die though.
yeah, so if that is connected, it's like it's not the biggest cannon to break. Like it's not like the biggest worry, and I think even the Deadshot stuff could be kind of glazed over in a way. But
Mm.
as a 100% canon guy, I'm like,
Yeah, same continuity. That's what
why
we
is
do
it
in
an
comics.
Arkhamverse
We
then?
always we keep saying
There's a
like these.
rumor that they want to connect to the Arkhamverse because they don't want Batman in it because they don't want the Suicide Squad killing Batman, which is like the weakest sauce I've ever heard in my life. Like, what?
He loves their Batman. Yeah, I see what you mean though. It's just kind of confusing there as far as gameplay. I feel like the cast is. I hope there's more because right now it's very like typical. I mean, you got Harley Quinn, you got Deadshot, you got Captain Boomerang, you got King Shark, which is kind of like. I was hoping more of a unique cast for this. I was hoping to see Black Manta, Reverse Flash, maybe Grodd, but instead we got kind of typical guys. So
But I think there is more to be revealed.
I hope so. Right now, as far as casting goes, I think it's good. Tara Strong returns to voice Harley Quinn. I can't remember the rest of the cast, but I did enjoy King Shark's dialogue in the trailer, like when Superman saves that guy from the helicopter or defeats him, and he goes like, "Superman is here. The mighty Superman has just returned," or something. I thought that was funny, but
Yeah.
in the end, I don't know if I'm excited for this.
I think it'll be good. I don't know. The teaser trailer wasn't like anything crazy for me, but I think it'll be good. I didn't love the Harley Quinn look with the buns. Wasn't I don't know for because I
She
feel
had
like
that in Suicide Squad Rebirth with Jim Lee.
yeah no I know it's from the comics. I just think like when it comes to Harley looks, you've already mastered it when it comes to either you know the live action what they're doing with Margot Robbie now or the Arkhamverse already had a pretty great,
Mhm.
Harley look down. So I mean, we'll see. Again, it's just like Black Widow changed a lot from Avengers first announced to the game release. So I don't doubt
Of
that
course, yeah.
the way the characters look will be changed. But
Mhm.
yeah, interesting that they're combining Captain Boomerang. Boomerang Senior George is just throws the boomerangs. Uh, Captain Boomerang Jr. Owen is half brother to Bart Allen. He's the one that has the speed bursts. In this
Yeah.
game, it appears to be the father by look, by sound, by everything, but he has the speed bursts, which is fine. I mean, the speed bursts were probably going to be more fun to play with anyway.
Yeah.
But at that point, why not just make it Owen?
Yeah.
Like that's something that kind of annoys me with, like, you know, you're going to take so many characteristics of a character. Why not just make it them? Like, and
Yeah, I
listen,
see what
there's
you
probably
mean.
there's no Captain Boomerang Jr. fans out there who are like, how could they take away our moment in the sun?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like but at the same time, it's kind of just like, what's the point of making him the father then?
Yeah, I mean, just for gameplay purposes, it seems at this point, but I'll have to wait and see. Granted, this game, the end of this whole panel showed 2022, so we have to wait way over a year for this game to release. So we'll have to wait and see more information coming from it. I mean, we're going to get Gotham Knights probably several months beforehand, maybe even a full year beforehand. So we just have to wait and see. We'll find
Yeah.
out soon. Last thing on this, the final panel, as my back was making me tear up here. The Batman trailer, something that I've been waiting for the whole time.
Hunter.
Yep, thanks, Bane. So the Batman trailer finally arrived. Well, the Batman panel, we didn't even know we were getting a trailer, although we
That was a
kind of
big
did.
shock to me.
It was actually leaked online an hour beforehand.
As a loyal Home Depot worker who was working hard instead of watching DC FanDome, I did not know about the leak online. So
I did, and I refused to watch it.
when all of a sudden I got home and I'm watching the Batman panel and they're like trailer time, I was like, trailer?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I expected some images maybe, but that would be about it. Because Warner Brothers actually posted 3 images from the trailer like 3 hours before, but they're just images of Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne. We didn't see the Batsuit or anything. It was just Robert Pattinson with like the makeup under the eye when he's
The one that everyone was posting.
Yeah, exactly. Warner Brothers posted that like during the Titans panel or something like that. Like, oh man, people are leaving DC FanDome.
Hey, people are bored from the Titans.
Yeah, so they posted that. But yeah, then the trailer eventually leaked, but I never watched it. I just waited for the actual panel to start. The main thing that we got from this, from Matt Reeves talking, is he's taking a lot of inspiration from the comic Batman Ego.
And Long Halloween in year 1 and all that.
Yeah, Long Halloween year 1, you could see inspiration from that straight up from the trailer itself, and even Earth 1. The only 25 to 30% of the movie's been shot, but they have resumed production today as we're recording. Actually, this is the 27th was the day that they were resuming production. And there's already set pictures of the Batmobile back on set.
Yep.
Pattinson was on for a few seconds at the beginning, just saying, "Hey all, welcome to DC Universe. Thanks for watching. We lost our production due to COVID-19, but we're going back to it soon, and can't wait for you all to see."
That was a solid Pattinson.
Thank you.
You Tenet?
Yeah, I actually saw Tenet last night, so that's where I got it from.
I still have not seen it yet. I'm a little scared because of the reviews. Some people said it sounds like Bane muffled.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, I saw it last night, so I have the Batman voice down, how he sounds depressed, but I'm also kind of British and sad, but that's why I'm playing Batman. So
Oh man.
he came on for a second to talk about that, but then the trailer actually having Matt Reeves is like, I don't want to leave here like Patrick Wilson and James Wan did, say we have nothing for you. So here we are, the Batman trailer, and then he showed the trailer, and oh my god, I've seen it.
It broke the internet.
I've seen it a million times at this point. Like actually, I've watched it every single day since it came out. And when it came out, I watched it like 20 times. I'm addicted to that trailer. It looks so good. I can't believe this. Like, what do you think of it? Sorry, before I.
It's good. Listen, it's people were kind of accusing me of like not being as hyped as everyone else because I wasn't posting my Robert Pattinson lock screen. I'm hyped. I think it looks very good. I think that I think this has. I've said for a while that Batman movies kind of have potential for those who want to draw on the comics, because while we've had a ton of Batman movies, we haven't had one that
comic.
Like really feels like the comics, right? So,
the only one that I could think of that came close was maybe Batman v Superman, if you count that. Inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. So I've said for a while there's a lot of potential there, and it feels like we're finally getting some of that. We'll see how some of the side characters come out. Personally, I've never been a big Catwoman fan, even in the comics. So, I don't know if I'll care so much about the Catwoman sideline, but
is it Riddler legal? to introduce Catwoman in the first movie. It's the first time they're doing
It's
that.
true. Everyone waits for the sequel or the third. So
Yeah.
I'm also curious about how Riddler is going to play out, because he's not like Riddler. He's not like the guy that we know in the comics.
He seems more like
So
Earth One Riddler or close to Zero Year Dark City Riddler, where he's more psychotic in a way, a lot more dark. Like, I will kill you if you don't get my puzzle.
well, I was thinking kind of even like the Gotham TV show kind of had like the towards the end he started getting more like bizarre Riddler, but in the beginning he was more kind of like serial killer Riddler type. So,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
um,
And that's
but
what I like that. I like how they're going a very dark route for this Riddler, because the last live action Riddler was all like, riddle me this, Batman, spandex, and so it seems
uh,
like this time we're getting a bit more of a serious, like, Riddler is a threat here, like Earth One.
yeah, and then as for Penguin's a character that I've literally never been interested in comics. Like I never really understood like why is he a Batman rogue? I'm like he's so lame.
Mhm.
But they look to be something. They look to be doing something different with him. We'll see how it turns out.
Did you play the Telltale Batman?
I did. I actually thought that was an interesting take on Oswald Cobblepot. I
I
feel like
think, yeah,
I feel like for you to do Penguin, it has to be something different, because I just don't think the comics provide you with enough. And it's rare that I'll say this, but I just don't think the comics provide you with enough to do with Penguin. I don't know.
he's kind of
You
a
know,
boring
yeah. There's only
character in a
so
way.
far you could take the I Run the Iceberg Lounge. So
Yeah, exactly. I like him
um,
in Arkham City. I liked his role there, where he's just a mob boss in a way. He's a lower end kingpin.
yeah,
So I just hope he has the accent, like the what?
a little Cockney accent.
Yeah, Nightwing. What are you doing
Blimey.
here? So
Uh,
we'll have to
between
wait
that
and
and
see.
Sad Pattinson, we get a very British movie. Um, but
The I Am Vengeance scene. Oh my
yes,
god,
that was intense.
it's a brutal Batman again.
Someone did a
Batflick.
clip. Someone did a clip where I think it was who was it? Someone I followed did a clip where it was like a three panel thing, and it was like a video clip. The top one is Kevin Conroy saying
I am the
I am
night.
the night. Uh,
I am in.
Pattinson saying I am vengeance, and then Bale saying I'm Batman. And
Okay.
it made me it made me feel some things. Uh, I was like, holy shit, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
anyway,
actually.
yeah, no, it's an intense line. This is a brutal Batman. Listen,
I
this
like
is
that.
kind of like I I like it to the point of, is he gonna kill or not?
Don't. If
Because
he kills, I will be mad. Like, I will. Please don't have this Batman kill. Have him have no kill
one of
roll.
the coolest things about Affleck's Batman is how brutal he was in that warehouse scene, but the drawback is
Is
the
he picked
death.
up a knife?
Yeah, and I'll remember, I'll kill her, I'll do it, and then he's like, I believe you, and just like incinerates that guy,
Yeah.
KG Beast.
Believe me, I'll do it. But then, oh yeah,
I'll kill her. I'll always think of
I
that.
love that warehouse scene, and today it still remains my favorite Batman fight scene. But there's that one part where that guy's on the wall. He's like, ah, and Batman picks up a knife and stabs him in the chest. I'm like, I hate that so much. I'm just gonna pretend that never happened. So in this case, I hope that like Robert Pattinson's brutal, like he is in the trailer. I hope his fight scenes like he breaks arms and he smashes faces and stuff like that. But make sure they're breathing.
I
I'm
mean,
all
yeah, the biggest thing, seems to be respecting the comics, and the big theme of year one, big theme of Long Halloween, of like all these Batman comics, is that I will not kill no matter what. I draw the line. So I'm hoping that Reeves respects that, and it makes it into the movie. We'll see. Like I said, I'll see it when I believe it, but I'll believe it when I see it. I said that backwards.
every
Uh,
Batman kills. I hope
yeah,
he
just,
maybe.
like I do like the brutal side of Batman as like a early I'm in year two type thing,
Mhm.
but I think as he's more experienced, he should be more experienced and learn like, okay, I don't have to be this brutal.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe he is a little too brutal at first. I mean, in the end, this guy just went like, "Hey, who are you?" And then he got his arm snapped. But I feel like Pattinson's so brutal in these thugs is because I'm gonna say these thugs just killed someone or killed a few people. And
Oh
so
yeah, no, I have no doubts that the thugs deserved it. It's
yeah,
just
so Bruce is pissed off. He's mad. Like he couldn't get there on time. And these kids just killed people. So he's like, I'm just gonna beat you all up and say,
yeah.
vengeance. So I like his Batman voice too. How it's not like Christian Bale's like, but it's not like
Yeah, I
Affleck's
mean,
like
I have to
robotic
hear more of
voice.
it to make sure, like it's quality. But yeah, it sounded pretty good for that line.
It seems
So
just more like a whisper in a way, but it's not a whisper. Just a vengeance kind of thing. So I mean, Robert Pattinson is clearly depressed, so he's just taking that those inner demons and putting them into Batman here.
if you made Twilight, wouldn't you be?
And even Lighthouse, that looked like painful. That looks so
Oh
painful to go
God,
through.
oh God, Lighthouse is
I love
so
the movie, but
ridiculous.
that looks like a painful film, man.
And I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum. I thought that movie was terrible, and oh God,
Oh, offended.
I just pissed off all the film bros that listen to this podcast. Oh God. But yeah, so yeah, no, the Batman looks good. Favorite part of DC fandom?
The Batman. We were just talking about it.
Fair.
What about you?
I've actually gotten this question over DM a few times at this point. We've been taking too long to get the podcast out. I actually thought about recording early, releasing early, but didn't end
We
up
should
happening.
have.
But I've been getting a lot of questions from people like, what was your favorite part of fandom? And honestly, for me, and it's the cheesy answer, but I just really enjoyed everyone having a good time and enjoying themselves. Like I know it's cheesy, but
Sorry.
the kind of
The friends
harmony
we
that was
made
going on at
along the
DC
way.
Comics, which I mean, think about the last since Man of Steel came out for DC, it's been a lot of rocky roads of people hate DC. DC fans are divided. Batman vs Superman, whatever. DC fans are divided. No one can agree on anything. We
Yeah,
hate
you're
Ben
right.
Affleck. We love Ben Affleck. We hate Henry Cavill. We love Henry Cavill. Like there's a lot of divide. And at fandom, whether you like Grant Gustin or Ezra Miller, whether you like comics or you like movies, it just felt like everyone was together. Everyone was in harmony.
You're
Everyone
right.
was enjoying themselves.
I feel
So
like the closest we
it's the cheesy answer, but I
No, I
enjoyed it.
get it. I feel like the closest we have from that since, like you said, Man of Steel was the Joker movie, but even then, everyone seemed to like
Oh,
that. But
yeah, you go on Letterbox D. Jesus Christ.
well, I mean, like when it first came out, everyone seemed to really like it and be like, "This is
Yeah,
a good movie." But when you came out of that theater, you weren't like, "Whoa, let's go! DC's back." You're kind of
yeah.
like, "That was good. Oh, that was pretty good."
Like the cool thing about fandom is we were able to, and I missed a lot of it, but I was able to leave that like that was a really awesome thing. And I think that even when COVID's done, honestly, I think this could be maybe not annually, but every few years, I think this could be a cool event for when you have a lot of stuff to showcase. Because I mean, I don't know the numbers on it, but I can imagine how many people watched it. It must have been a ton,
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Like probably broke the million mark. Even then, you had
probably.
people like Dwayne Johnson advertising it, and he even advertised when it was on. Like, hey, I'm on in like 30 minutes. Everyone go to DCFandom.com. So it was cool like that. Like that's a big name talking about it. So I'm sure a lot of people went on then, and I'm sure it broke the million mark. And not a lot of companies do this, but a few do. The one that comes to mind is Nintendo. They do something like this every like twice a year, 3 times a year, called the Nintendo Direct, and the whole fandom comes on. They watch a live video that's just like DC fandom. That's
Yeah,
like an hour long thing. So it's cool that they're doing this. I mean, Comic Con was canceled this year, so they didn't have much. Marvel didn't have much to show, I guess. So DC was ready for Comic Con this year, and they were really sad that it was canceled. But it was really fun. So yeah, I see what you mean. It was cool that all of DC was coming together. But in the end, the Batman was my favorite part.
oh yeah, no. If we're talking about trailers, Batman or Snyder Cut was probably my favorite, just because I was like, I don't know, the unexpectedness of both.
Mhm.
For Batman actually having a trailer and for Snyder Cut, like Darkseid popping up, I was just like, okay. So there's definitely like there was definitely some cool moments. But yeah,
For
overall,
sure.
just it seemed like a fun day to be a DC fan, and yeah,
Mhm.
that's fandom. We're I think over the 2 hour mark.
Or, you can probably check here. Yeah, we are just over the 2 hour mark here. There's a few other news
Uh,
that we could just rapidly fire through if you want.
yeah. Let's rapid fire. Let's do it.
Death metal covers came out for upcoming issue. One of them featuring Wally West in the Manhattan suit playing drums.
As I said on my Instagram caption, if you went back to 1984 and you show Alan Moore this picture while he's in his wizard cave doing his wizard spells, would he throw out his idea for Watchmen and be like, it's not worth it?
He probably tried to find a different company. He wouldn't find DC to like publish it.
And
Go
now
somewhere
listen,
else.
I have no problem with, the metal variants and all that. Like, it's just the variant cover. It's the 125th variant, by the way, so it's not even like something that you'll often see. Please don't let death metal end with a concert. Please, please, please do not let it end with a concert.
John's too old to play in the band this time, so instead we have Wally West. Oh, Wally West is older? Oh, he has a blue suit. He's cool. You look cool on drums. Alfred's dead, so Alfred was on drums last time. So,
Jesus.
So yeah, one of the covers also features Superboy Prime, which is pretty neato. Batgirl ending at issue 50. This actually came out a few weeks ago. We forgot to talk about it, but Batgirl comics ending at issue 50.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of our, is there a reboot coming talk? And yeah,
Maybe.
we'll see.
Endless Winter, the upcoming DC event after Death Metal. We don't know much about it, but there was concept art that came out recently featuring Batman and Wonder Woman in winter-type clothing. Wonder Woman looks awesome. Looks like she has like some sort of animal fur cape, and Batman's wearing a white cloak, so it's pretty cool. As far as Endless Winter goes, we don't know much about it, but there's a lot of theories going around that there is a villain called Endless Winter that might be returning at this point. At first, we all thought it was like, oh, it's going to be like Winter Wonderland here with a bunch of ice villains teaming up. Seems like a upcoming villain called Endless Winter will be appearing.
Yeah, my biggest wonder with this event is it actually going to be an event, or is it going to be a filler event like, Convergence?
Yeah, or is it going to be an event leading to a relaunch like Flashpoint? So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. And the last bit of thing was the event Marvel news. The Avengers game had a launch trailer showing cinematic event of Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, all the Avengers just running around fighting some robots, and it looks so cool. Like, I highly recommend looking up the Marvel's Avengers launch trailer. This is out in 2 weeks. So by the time next week's episode is out, the game will be out. Actually, so it's out in like a week, actually. JD and I will probably be playing it and hopefully have a review for you, not next week, but the week after, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
It's possible. And if you are living in certain countries, I don't have a list on me at the moment, but you can look up New Mutants is releasing today. So if you live in a country where New Mutants is releasing, have fun watching New Mutants.
Does it release near you?
It does release near me. I might see it actually this week. So.
Oh, you already saw it?
No, not yet, but I might go see it.
Oh,
so maybe I'll have like a little non-spoiler review for next week's episode.
Yeah, I don't know the theater because I wanted to see Tenet as well, but I don't think the theater near me is reopened. New York has been very strict on things reopening, so I'm not sure. The gym just reopened, so maybe it's reopened.
Yeah, you have to look up. I know New Mutants is releasing some places, but not all places. But I'll look up. It's releasing in my local theater. It released the day I was recording here. I realized when I saw Tenet last night that it was coming out because when I was purchasing my ticket, it was like New Mutants is also out tomorrow. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll go see that this weekend and then I'll give my thoughts on the podcast. Yeah. So maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. Maybe when I go, it'll be like, oh, sorry, it was just delayed. It's like, oh, I understand. No need to fret. So, and yeah, that's kind of just the rapid fire news for this week. Well, thanks for listening to this super long episode. I think our longest